It's not our fault. The app credentials or the credentials are broken.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another 40 to Level 1. I'm one of your hosts, Alistair Kennedy. This is another episode of the 40 to Level 1 podcast for the 8th of June 2021. And here with me, as always, the Twilight Princess of YouTube's former Twilight Princess of all games, former CEO of Xbox, the master of none.
So the former Sony pony, Mr. Andy Urquhart, here as always.
The former Sony pony. I was going to say the man of many names, but we know him by one. Andy.
Yeah, just Andy.
Your intro's getting like extravagant.
Here as always.
Yeah, it's really getting extravagant.
I mean, you keep adding subtitles for me, like.
It's funny. Andy goes for his next job and is like, "Can I get 2 pieces of A4? What's this for, sir?" My title.
But yeah, no, I was just saying there the E3 there, like, so we're obviously.
Good start.
I'm also now accepted to media for E3.
Not to be as you being my senior editor.
I mean, technically I am, because I must edit everything you say. It's so controversial.
Not these days. Not these days. These days it's tame.
I mean, you got us redacted by Barack Obama. I can't remember this.
I can't remember what I said. That I'm not like the person to say the worst thing in this show. Not live, but it was not me. I'm not going to name it. You know who it was.
Certainly, yeah. It was certainly not either of us. It was someone else.
Yes, and it was off air in the green room while a guest was there.
Yes.
He knows who he is.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, like, so we've both been accepted to E3 as media this year. We're
42's been accepted to E3.
42.
We're a unit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yes. But anyway, so we'll be trying to cover E3 as best we can. However, E3 does not want anyone to cover it using their credentials. Like, not us, anyone, because no one can log in.
I've created avatar.
I created my avatar as well. He's this little man with the beard. Probably looks very similar to your one, I would imagine.
Except the hair's
longer hair.
Yeah.
And the eye color is different.
Green.
I think you have different color eyes from me.
Eyes.
Yeah, I have. And I have brown eyes.
Yeah.
So I can't see in this light.
But usually because these avatars, when they do these things, they're kind of like the what were they called? What was Mees? They look like Mees. So like they've only ever got one standard beard. And even though my beard and Andy's are very different, like mine's has been long before. Yours is short actually now. So nah, it doesn't work.
Not that long.
Yours is short this week, so it's kind of similar. Mine's is longer than yours this week, or thicker anyway.
Yeah. I always find that like the beards, like, because I like to have like kind of short bits here.
You
like
do in longer here. You've got more of a goatee thing,
and it's longer here.
Whereas me, it's more like here.
Yeah, you can never have this in an avatar. It's always like you must have either just like goatee, and nothing, goatee and like blank here, so you're like this. Yeah. Or you must have like entire beard covering your entire face.
Yeah, so this is like entire beard. This is like this. Like the me beard was like that. That's what the me beard looked like.
Yeah, it was. It looked horrible.
So yeah, you get limited options. I put a black hoodie on. I did do green eyes. And do you know what I hate? This is, as you know, long for my hair these days. Like longish. I know it's not long, but like they don't have like bald head. Now, what about people that don't have hair in their heads? Like look at AZ Bongos. Does he have to? Like he's completely bald. He's balder than me when he shaves his head, or like I don't know.
I shouldn't have a completely bald head, because I'm sure Paris's one had was bald.
They didn't on mine, so I had to do mine with kind of like longer hair than this, and I'm like, that's not really me.
I don't know. I can't go back in. Jesus. I can't go back in and look because it doesn't fucking work anymore.
Like, and the app just doesn't work. Because I seen Chris Scullion from Nintendo Live today saying about it. And he was like, yeah, I'm glad I gave the company that lost details before my details in this app that continually puts me in a loop. But we are glad to be covering E3. And as soon as we can get coverage for you guys, we will. Because we did pre-warn and say possibly this week's show may be all E3. And we would have loved it to be. But we can't even walk the virtual floor at the moment. So
we do have one E3 kind of thing to talk about. The play date. The play date.
We do. We can talk about that in a bit, because this week in gaming, Wah, wah, wah. I tell a lie. Okay, so I did play one thing. I did play. Did you like that sound effect? Because you smelled like you really like that sound effect. You gave your
It
when
was a
Andy
very
does
real
a
fun.
both ways, he's found it funny in some way. So I can't talk about one game, not because it's embargoed or NDA, but because it's for a project for something else that's coming up outside of 42.
It means he's keeping it secret from me, is what he's telling you, listeners and watchers.
But I don't want to talk about it here because it'll ruin. There's no point in talking about it
Surprise
just now. It's
for
not.
me for some reason.
It's not a surprise from you. I can tell you off air what it is. You could probably, kind of what I've been working on with someone else anyway.
Okay, I see what
Right.
you're talking about now. Cool.
Yeah. So
As long as you're not keeping secrets from me, then I
it's
will
not.
be.
It's
I will
not.
be
This
fine.
is not a surprise. You know I got this. You know I was going to
Yeah.
complain, and it's for something else. But it's kind of funny. I'll tell you off air because that's total baseball stuff, and it's not. If it was for some 42 listeners, I would ruin it. I would just tell everybody. I'm not bothered. But it's not for my show, so I can't. But I'm excited to be doing it. Like I've been speaking quite a lot backwards and forwards, and it snowballed. And the only thing I can say is it's going to be.
God.
It's not like a regular thing, but it's going to be more regular than just a one-off this time because one idea went to, oh, what about these? And then on one of them I was listening to today, I was like, yeah, we could do this also. And like I got a message back today going, yeah, I'm down for that too. And I'm like, okay, so that's quite a lot of stuff to do. Here's a hint, right? So one of them, this is a future one, will involve me getting a micro console out of the loft, which will be interesting. But that's not the one that I'm working on just now. That I've never pre-planned a lot, as people watching and listen probably know. However, this is very pre-planned for set dates and stuff, which is not part of my organisation.
Good luck, Ali.
It'll be fine because two of the projects that we're going to be discussing, I'm very familiar with, and I will replay them. One I have replayed a lot. All three of them I've never done a full show on. I'll say that.
Okay.
All three.
But yeah, we will find out more about that when Ali's once it's been announced and Ali's allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I suppose
he's technically under a unofficial NDA from another.
I'm putting myself under an embargo.
Putting yourself under an NDA.
Because
yes, no, absolutely, it's totally fair.
Yeah. So aside from that, I have played quite a bit of Dragon Quest 11 on Xbox. Now, I had an issue with this, Andy, not with Dragon Quest. We'll get to that in a minute. I had an issue with cloud streaming. So I haven't tried it in the last few days. However, my thing, as you know, because I was watching, I believe it was Sack Chief. I can't remember, but there's a few Dragon Quest YouTubers, and he's the main one. And I'm sure it was him that said when he was in Japan, the tradition was you have a bath and you play it before you go to bed because it's like a bedtime story. Yeah. And I've been really enjoying doing this. Monday was kind of ruined because my Monday was usually go for bath, watch Andy while in the bath. Not in that way, listeners. We don't stay close enough to that. But like do that, and Andy played farm.
He's got a bath installed on my balcony, and he comes over and has a bath and watches in the window.
Yeah. Just doing daily stuff like making his tea and like pouring himself a juice, watching him do the dishes, and just sit and watch. And Bethany's like, Daddy, and he's like, don't ask. She's like, Daddy, why is that? Like, nope, don't ask, don't look at him, just leave him be. He'll be gone in an hour. So no. Usually I watch Andy with Bloodborne, but he decided to do a Harvest Moon or some fucking Animal Crossing in real life, which you want to play these things. You don't actually want to build real fences, but hey.
I mean, my fence blew down. I had to put a new fence up. Like, I don't know what you want me to do.
Like, do it after Bloodborne. You could have built the fence inside and then took it out.
Well, no, not really, no. But like, so I started doing this at 11 o'clock. No, maybe not 11. Maybe 11:30. Thinking I would be long done by the time 9 o'clock comes around.
You would imagine. One would imagine.
But I was not.
No. I mean, it looked a solid fence. It looked like it was going to do the
pretty
job
solid,
it was created for. Like, fence.
I cannot take credit for the building of the fence solo.
Dad?
Me and my dad
Of course.
both built the fence together, of
My
course.
bad.
Because I am kind of like you with the building of the things. Not good at it
You're a
at
good
all.
T-boy.
I am no, I'm not a good T-boy. I'm a good person for like holding
Lifting,
and doing
holding.
manual labory things.
Oh
I
yeah,
can do
that's
all
me as
that.
well. Yeah.
Thinking of like how to build the thing,
Yeah,
and
no.
no, I
If you
cannot do
put
it.
me and
Like,
Andy on a
fucking
building
no.
site, we'd be the wheelbarrow guy taking the rubble.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the
Yep.
next thing. Lift this up.
Other shit, you give me other problems to solve. I'm like, cool, yeah, I can work out how to solve this. But like a building problem of any sort, no,
Yeah.
can't do
I
it.
mean, say
I'm
your
like,
Xbox crashes during it, I'm pretty sure Andy could have a go at fixed it. Phone
yeah,
crashes, we could have both have a go at fixing it because it's
yeah,
parts of our job. But in general, like, you want us to build a simple construct, then it's probably not going to happen in a timely or efficient manner of any sort.
no, definitely. And even doing it with my dad, we still didn't get it done in a timely and efficient manner.
And
Well,
I
it's pretty
mean,
efficient, but not timely.
your dad's quite proficient at this. This is his
Oh
jam
yeah, and like we took a break to have like food and stuff like that as
for
well, and like
probably 5 hours. Like going on your
no,
time
not five
scale.
hours. Probably about an hour. But what actually took up the time was actually because of COVID.
Beer.
We had to take a bunch of stuff to the dump, and the
Ah,
dump is like half capacity just now because of COVID. So
sure.
like the only one car in each bay, and normally it's two cars can go in a bay.
Yep.
Like so, and then when you get to the dump, there's a giant queue, and you have to wait in the queue to dump all the stuff.
Yeah, we
And
get
then
this next week.
after that, we had to go to the time hole, which is the other name for B&Q.
The time hole. What Doctor Who came to do?
Honestly, you go to B&Q, like you know exactly what you're needing,
Yeah.
and it should take you 10 minutes in and out. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to get a fucking fence,
Say paint
10
a
minutes in and
fence.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but no, you're there for a minimum of 1 hour
Oh,
every time.
guaranteed. Because you go,
Minimum.
do you know what? While I'm here, we were thinking of doing. I'll go and check how much it is, or I'll just go and see the colour of this paint, or I'll see if they've got in,
Yeah.
or I could do with a new XYZ. Yep. Oh, I need a
Or
hammer for my bath.
I just need a light. I just need a light bulb, and there's shit like that. Like that even when I came out, I was like, "Fuck, I need to go back in because I had to buy like wipes for cleaning down the like garden chairs outside, like heavy duty wipes. So I went in to buy wipes. The wipes are £10. It's like I am not paying £10 for wipes. So I bought a spray, like a good cleaning spray, and some blue roll, which was less than £10 and was still £8. But still, I saved £2. I'm not buying £10 wipes. That's insane.
So if we're talking about,
Anyway, that was my adventure, and I built a fence, and it's built. And I did do my Bloodborne stream. I just did it a lot later than normal.
I was in bed by this stage, I think.
Yeah, once I'd got everything done, I did do my Bloodborne stream. So, is it my turn to go first this week? Because I can just segue straight into that.
No, it's not. But thanks for trying. So yeah, as I was saying, back to the main point, Dragon Quest. Because I was in the middle of doing mine.
I had a great segue. You ruined it.
I like I like playing it on the cloud streaming, but for some reason it
Yeah.
keeps saying that it's in beta for sign-ups only. I'm like, yeah, no, I've signed up, but every time I logged in, it put me in a loop, and it might have just been that night, but I get rather frustrated with it. So I didn't play it for a couple of nights because of this, and I know I could have just went,
Oh,
ding.
this is on iOS, isn't it?
Yeah, because they were
Yeah.
trialing it. And I don't think it's a block by any means. I'm not sure. It might be back up now. I haven't tried, and I know I could have, excuse me, remote played it, but I just was in that much of a mood I didn't. So I'm maybe 20 hours into Dragon Quest 11 now. This is the only game I've sunk time into, and I don't mind that because I've really got my teeth into it. Excuse me. The complaints I have are not really complaints because I know what type of game I'm playing. It's more, I've got to a certain section where one of my party members has been kidnapped. Well, he has been kidnapped. I don't know why I'm doing this. He's 100% been kidnapped by a bad guy, and we're in a sort of place that looks like Venice, and you have to kind of sneak up behind him, and it's one of those sections where guards can see you, but you can avoid them at the same time. But I decided to fight them, some of them. But I got to the boss. Excuse me. Oh, it's been a long day. And the boss wiped me out. I can't remember the name of the boss. It's one of the night. Sorry, this isn't much spoilers, but you know, are you at the start with the you
I
see?
played it anymore, so I'm still at the same bit.
So there's a couple of nights you meet.
I don't really mind if you spoil it for me though. Like,
It's
it's
not
fine.
major spoilers. It's like there's 2 nights at the
No.
start of the king, like
Right.
they get sent after you, and one of them appears. So it's my first kind of big boss fight ish, and he nailed me and he beat me, and it wasn't like through me not trying. So I'm like, yeah, I'm clearly under leveled. So what I did was restore this because I hate it'll let you like resume right where you were, but half your money goes, and I hate that. So I always take it back to where I was so that I don't lose my money. So what I did was I beat the knights at the gate of the town itself, even though it's in this sort of din 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 din, din go and rescue Eric, go and rescue Eric because that's who's kidnapped. And I'm like, right, okay, cool. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fight these guards at the door and see if I can leave town. And even though it makes you feel like it's we've got to hurry up and rescue him, I can totally leave town and travel other places. All that happens is my mission says rescue Eric, but when you're in the town, it's got that sort of panic music. And you should always remember that in JRPGs, because Final Fantasy does it, unless there's a timer, you're not going to get like an auto cut scene of them dying, you know, because it's just to make you panic and set atmosphere. This din 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 and go and do this. So unless you physically see a timer, for example, in 7, when you set the bomb at the start and there is a timer, you need to run. But before that, I'm pretty sure it makes you feel like you need to rush there. You absolutely don't. So I'm out trying to grind. This is my big gripe. It's not that I don't enjoy the combat. It's just it's been a while since I've played an RPG or JRPG, sorry, and because most of the games I have played have been action RPGs or RPGs like Skyrim or like Final Fantasy 15 style or Kingdom Hearts, and you forget that in a standard JRPG, a very traditional one, which Dragon Quest sticks by, because in Japan they love that, you're gonna be expected to do a certain amount of grind. Do you know what I mean? And like they kind of done away with this in Final Fantasy after 9 so much. Like 10, I don't even remember a bit where I had to go, okay, I'm gonna have to grind some levels here. 9 you definitely did. 8 you did. 7 you did. You know, and this is by grind, if anybody's watching don't know what I mean. It's literally running around in the outer world map until it goes and just fight. Okay, move on, fight. And then healing up and doing the same again so your levels go up. And I'm currently at that stage. I'm not totally underpowered. I feel that I'm not totally underpowered, but as you know from JRPGs, a lot of them don't always show you the enemy's health, especially if it's not the fight where you're meant to kill said enemy, and they're probably just going to go, "Ark, you've beat me this time," and run off, which I've got a feeling this is, because it doesn't feel a very final battle with this guy. So yeah, it is a gripe and it isn't a gripe, and I suppose it's a gripe because I've just been accustomed to action RPGs, and by the hints that they were making around Dragon Quest 12, it looks like 12 is going to kind of go that way that 15 did, you know, when they said a whole new battle system, etc, etc. Because this game practically has still got elements from Dragon Quest 1 in it, the original. Like, they've kind of kept it that traditional way. It's not a bad thing. Again, my gripe is just, can I not just beat them? And the answer's no, because you're not leveled high enough. Fine. It tends to happen in these games. So yeah, I didn't get any further than that. Excuse me. I've had so much. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll be back.
He's just abandoned. He's going to get coffee, I would imagine, but I do not drink coffee. What's he getting? A can of coffee. What the fuck is that?
This is a double espresso shot of caramel latte. Doo-doo.
Caramel latte in a can. Is it cold?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, I think I'm going to be sick. He's just downing it. Like, what is happening? He's downing a can of coffee.
Done.
What has happened to the world in 2021? The world's gone mad.
So
You can drink coffee from a can. It's not even warm.
been able to do it for years.
Is
are
it
you
fizzy?
from the past? Why would it be fucking
I
fizzy?
do not drink coffee. I don't know anything about coffee.
So, like, you get
I know,
iced coffee,
I know what a latte. Yeah, but a latte is not an iced coffee.
So, if you imagine a coffee flavored milkshake, I know you don't like it, but that's kind of what an iced coffee is. It's more of a
So
sweet.
yeah,
easy to drink thing.
I've had a frappuccino before, but that's not a latte. A latte's a different thing.
No,
Like
but you get different types.
I used to make coffee. I used to work in a bar that served coffee,
So,
and I made many lattes.
Because my wife,
And you had to layer. There was layering with spoons
So
involved and pouring.
my wife actually used to work for this company, and they did caramel lattes, coffees in the store. Basically, what it is you make your coffee and you put fucking ice in it, and then you blitz it. So that's what that is, and now they sell them in a can. So anyway, it's easier. It's either that or I go and boil the kettle and sit and wait, and then go it's too hot. And then I'll leave it.
You just had that on hand. I don't care. I'm drinking vodka and lemonade.
Why are you so surprised? You're like, you had it to hand. Yeah, I like coffee.
Oh my god.
But anyway, so Dragon Quest XI, it's a really, really good game. It is really good. However, it's just because it's been so long since I've played a traditional JRPG that you do forget the grind. And this could be a block for some people that are into this game. I don't think it's as heavy a grind as, say, 7, but it's just enough that if you've been away from JRPGs for a while, and this is your first one, you are going to be a bit like me, like, okay. I can either restart and try again, and I know I'm not going to win with half my money, or I can go back to my previous save and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind. So your best thing to do when you can't always tell when there's going to be a fight like this is just fight the enemy, and this applies to any JRPG, at least in this one. Doesn't have the random battles. You can actually see the enemies on the field, which, like the old 7, the old 8, you couldn't. Old 9, you couldn't. I think 10 was the first one you could. Could you? No, 10 was random battles as well. 12 was probably the first Final Fantasy, wasn't it? With the enemies on the field.
I believe 12 was the first Final Fantasy where you could see the enemies and go and get them.
That's kind of standard now, so you can see them. What I would recommend is each area you're in, be it a castle or a village or a lake or whatever the main sort of hub that you're visiting to get your next quests, fight the enemies until like they basically die with one hit, and that's when you kind of know you're at the right level for that section. That's the best way. If you're fighting enemies and some of them are still taking 2 or 3 hits, then you're not leveled high enough for anything that might happen in that area. Because if you fight a boss and you're not running through these enemies quick, then you're going to have a time with the boss. JRPGs are also very linear, very linear. They've got a story to tell, and it is literally, and I forget this, go to this town, talk to this person, get your job, go and do your job, maybe fight a boss, maybe return an item, move on, perhaps go to a cave on the way, explore the cave leads to another section of the map that you can't traverse to. Oh, maybe you get an airship, maybe you get this. And yeah, I know I'm sounding as if I didn't like the game, but it's just, these are kind of almost, I don't like to say antiquated, but some of these, you know what I mean by that this is like a gaming elements from a different time, like even older than a decade now, where these were kind of
I mean
mainstream. Sorry,
this is a traditional Japanese RPG,
no doubt,
like hands down, 100%. So like I think it's actually probably for me, like coming into it with all those things, it's quite refreshing to have that, because like RPGs nowadays don't have that. Like the ones that I've played anytime recently, Final Fantasy 15, Yakuza 7
remake.
Like these haven't had these things. Like 7 remake, these haven't had these things. These are modern, flashy, flary games, and this is not bare bones. This is a old school JRPG.
And it's, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking it away. Like I said, it's a beautifully done game. Like it's probably like the pinnacle of JRPGs. Like it's doing everything right. There's nothing wrong with it, but certain elements of it definitely do feel dated, like the overworld. Because it's now modern day and it's using old tropes, it doesn't feel right, because it feels like, why can't I glide? Why can't I do this? Like, because of Breath of the Wild, that's another RPG, but it's more an action RPG. Whereas this, it's like you meet the enemies and you go into a static screen. It's like, choo, choo. And there's a part in it where you've got a circle and it says you can move about the circle during battle. There's no point. So I changed the camera angle to like fixed, and it goes more like traditional RPG where the enemies are here, your guys are here, and they go forward. and they do the move. And to me, that looks a lot better than, you know, the sort of isometric almost where you can move about.
Yeah.
But it does nothing. Like even attacking from behind doesn't do anything to the enemies. It's almost like they're like, you know, in these new games you can use tactics and you can go behind them. Yeah, no.
Yeah, totally.
And this it doesn't. So, and I've even read up and it's like, yeah, there is no effect to it. So just choose it if you like the camera angle. So for me, I went into the camera angle and changed it to the fixed one. And I prefer
that's actually cool. Yeah, that's actually cool that you can change that though. I like that.
Yeah. So I for JRPGs, I prefer seeing my team in one side and their team in the other sort of thing. And it's kind of like an over the shoulder kind of angle where my guys will go forward and hit them. And I like that. I like it better. I did comment last week and I did say that the not junction system, but your sort of command menu, it's called tactics in this, wasn't very good. It is like for easy management of your other characters, and if you're not a big fan of the menus, don't get me wrong, it's not active time battle, so you're not going to like get attacked while you're choosing commands by any means. But like sometimes, you know, you feel frantic in the moment, so you might have to go fight for your guy, magic for another guy, defend for the next. And see, for me, it doesn't always work. So I've actually been playing about with them, and I've got my healer. So I give her a tactics command as concentrate and healing. I've got my attack guy, and I'll say to him, fight wildly, and that just means he fights without like thinking. And then well, I don't know what it's termed as, but that's more or less what it says.
Yes, that's that. It should be termed that if it's not.
Yeah, but then my magic guy, it's like mix it up. So sometimes they'll use attack, sometimes they'll use like buffs on my guys, and then I just control my character as is. I don't like the whole thing to play out. I like control of at least my character, and that kind of.
Is there an option though to control everybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
because you basically just during your fight you go into tactics and you just say follow commands, and you just say follow commands all, and they'll all follow commands. You could select the menus, but what I said last week was it wasn't very comprehensive, and I'm taking that back now because after using it, do you know what? Some fights, like see for standard fights, like walking about in overworld grinding, tactics are absolutely fine. Because sometimes it's mind-numbing to go fight.
Yeah, totally.
So this is great for that. However, like I said, when I fought the boss, I chose follow commands for them all because you want to play that out a wee bit different sometimes. One time you might want them to use an item, say their MP's down, and there's no real option to customize it that way. It's not as in-depth as the junction system, but when you're in the overworld grinding away, then tactics menu is brilliant. You just click on it and then hit fight and let them do their thing. Great. Saves a lot.
Yeah, you're meaning the gambit system from Final Fantasy 12.
Junctions is a different thing. That's from 8.
Junction was when
you drew the Guardian Force. Yeah, and stuff.
Yeah. Well, you drew the Guardian Force, and then you could junction magic to all your to all your stats. Like you could literally within the first like 2 or 3 hours of the game, you could literally get yourself to like 9,000 health, like no issue, by going and like drawing the right things and junctioning it to your health. Like it was mental.
Interesting, but I think it was very flawed, that system.
I loved it, like because it meant you could like beast the game early. Like the beginning part of the game, like I find it so Final Fantasy 8 specifically. I'm talking about there. I found the beginning part of that game so easy every time. That's why I can go back to it anytime because I know that you just have. It's not grinding battles in Final Fantasy 8. It's grinding drawing.
Yeah.
So you just have to go and you draw and you draw and you draw and you draw, and it's fucking mind numbing and grindy as fuck. But you just keep doing it.
Missable summons. Because there are summons you can miss if you
don't. Yeah.
Because sometimes if you draw from if you forget.
Yeah. I missed one the first time I played it, and I never missed them again because I know where they all are now.
Oh no, it's good. It's a great game. I've still never finished 8 because my original copy that I sunk time into, the disc was scratched, and by the time I got to disc 4, because there was 4 discs in the PS1, and I went back to Electronics Boutique, or maybe it was Game by that point, they said, sorry, you've had it too long now, and I'm like, but look, I didn't obviously check the game. Like back then there was no such thing as checking for scratched discs. It was just a case of I'm buying it, it's the only copy in, somebody's mad, they've traded it already. And the disc was more scratched than a Fat Boy Slim show. So little DJ joke for you there. The game's great though. Dragon Quest is good. It's just getting used to these old systems that I can't even think of the last game that I played that was grindy like this. to an extent. Pokemon in a way, Sword and Shields, it's a bit grindy, but Pokemon's always, it's more like a kid's JRPG where you don't really need to grind. You can just play it and go through the game. But this game, yeah, definitely some grindy elements. But all in all, it's like the perfect JRPG. Everything's good about it. It's got your hero. It's got your hero's journey. You build. It introduces party members at the right time to spice it up. Like there's people you think you might trust, people you don't want to trust, and yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes because apparently it's a love letter to the series and it ties in to the original 3 games, which is interesting to me. I've got small knowledge in the original 3 games. And I only bought 8 to get the Final Fantasy demo disc on PS2. So yeah, this one's really my first proper one, and I am liking it. It's just a pre-warning for people that are into JRPGs and maybe haven't played one in a while. Apart from that, like it looks really nice. You can play it in 2D mode, the whole game, parts of the game. You just go to the church to save, and that's the other thing. You can't save anywhere in the overworld. You can't save anywhere in the villages. It will autosave, so that's a modern feature. Sometimes you enter a village and it'll say autosave, and if you come back into it, it'll load your autosave. Or after cutscenes, it'll sometimes do it. But in general, to get your main save, you have to visit the church. But they're frequent. It's not like there's not enough. Or there's campfires in the wild. You can save there as well at the statues. But I do like the game, and I'm going to sink more time into it. The only thing is, when you're playing a game like this, you kind of that becomes the game that you play, because you're in the story and like.
Yeah.
I played Gears with you on Wednesday, but for Gears of Wednesday anyway. But I've kind of fallen off of Fortnite this last month or two. And I know the new season started, so I haven't played anything like that at all. And it's about time that I sunk my teeth into a game and played the whole story through. And this is just happens to be a JRPG that's going to take me quite a while to do so. And I'm fine with that.
My prediction is you're going to fall off of this on Friday.
Friday?
You will not go back.
Why do you think Friday?
Yep. Because Ratchet comes out on Friday.
Again, I get what you're saying, but Ratchet's just a platformer that can be played alongside stuff. It's not like it's going to take over. Although the reviews are stellar.
Yeah, the reviews are really good. I think you're gonna be sucked into this, and you're gonna play Ratchet right through, and not play anything else. That's my prediction. For next week's show will be Ali talking about Ratchet and us talking about E3, and then the following week's show will be Ali talking about Ratchet and not one single other game. He will play no other games, just Ratchet.
Yeah.
Apart from Gears, because we'll obviously play. We might play Gears next week. We'll see.
We'll see. Gears is...
Tonight we'll play Gears. Next week, don't know. Depends what happens with E3 things.
True. Well, we'll see. I'll definitely obviously be playing. When's Ratchet? Ratchet's Friday, Thursday night, midnight. So yeah, I will be playing Ratchet this week. Final Fantasy VII remake, upscale, intergrade, whatever the fuck it's called.
Final Fantasy VII remake, intergrade. Yeah. Yes, I'm set to play that. I have got my PS4 copy of Final Fantasy VII remake downloaded, ready to upload my save once that option becomes available. I don't believe it is yet.
No, launch night, apparently tomorrow night at midnight or tonight.
Oh yeah, Is it tonight? Okay, well, so yeah, I'm waiting for that to happen. Okay, well, I'll do that tomorrow then. I'm not staying up till 4 in the morning to do that.
There was days when we.
So I will do that tomorrow. Yeah, and I mean I'm on holiday this week, so I could do it, but it's like, see if it was a brand new game, totally I would do it. But
if because it isn't launching,
yeah, if it was 7 remake launching, then totally I would stay up.
What you get? You're getting the Yuffie DLC. That's your new thing because you finished this.
So I don't quite know what the deal is with this whole thing, right? Because I know that the remake intergrade is coming out, but the Yuffie DLC is called like Interlude or Inter something else. So it's got a separate name, and it is a paid DLC. It does not come free, so you have to buy the DLC. But you can only buy the DLC from within the remake intergrade game. So I have to go download the remake intergrade, upload my save file from Final Fantasy VII remake, download the remake intergrade from the PS5 version, get my save downloaded from the cloud, and then look and see how much is the Yuffie thing, and then I'll buy it.
From what I read, though,
how much it is.
You get the digital deluxe version, didn't you? Same as me.
I did, yeah.
So from what I read is digital deluxe, you get it free, but then there's conflicting reports and it's just saying,
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll just need to wait and
yeah,
see tomorrow, like if that's the case or not. Because I read that as well,
yeah,
but I'm not convinced.
no, some places say that the standard version just gets the intergrade upgrade and
Yeah.
the digital deluxe you get the Yuffie DLC, but then other places are like, no, everyone's getting intergrade if you've got it digital and it's the Yuffie DLC is
Yeah.
paid. I'm
Apart from the PlayStation Plus people, the people that got the
they
game on
don't get
PS Plus,
intergrade.
you don't get Integrate. You have to buy Integrate separately.
Yeah.
But we
So
bought it day one digital, so it's fine.
I'm downloading it because I want to try it and see what it looks like. I mean, I thought it looked great anyway. Like, I really thought this game was one of the standouts for the last few days of the PS4, and I thought it looked nice. So I'm interested to see what they've done to it. I've still not finished it. I don't think I've got much left game wise where I am. Do you? Like, I'm at the tower, and to me, there's not much left in the original game from when they leave Midgar.
You're at the plate, so or climbing the tower up to the plate.
When they're going to blow up halfway, maybe.
You see, you've not gone up the Shinra building yet, though.
No, because that's after you.
Yeah,
You head there after the plate,
Yeah,
so maybe halfway.
Shinra building's like the end. So you're probably more than halfway.
More than halfway. So
But
yeah,
you've still got a long way. Yeah, you've still got probably 10 hours to go.
Yeah,
Like
still
easy.
10 hours to go. But I mean,
maybe even longer. Maybe even longer because like there's some shit in the Shinra building that's way extended, and in fact there's another extended part. Like I can't remember if it's
because the biggest extended part that I can remember that I did so far was when you went to, was it Biggs or Jesse's house? Sorry, you went to Jesse's parents' house because that just wasn't in the original. That's the first time when it went.
Yeah, so there's another part that's completely not in the game that you go to a laboratory underground. I think that's after the plate. Like after the bit you're doing, I think that it puts in that bit first before you have to go to Shinra building.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But we'll see if I can get past it because I get stuck and I get annoyed and I'm like, even the tactics I've read online don't seem to be working. I don't seem to be under leveled. I don't have a fucking clue. So I didn't care enough. I was like, the original's better and it's still going to be better even if I finish this. To me, they're two very different games. But to me, the original's always going to be better. But they did announce that the 4K version of Advent Children, so this will be the fourth time I've bought this, even though it's not that great a movie, because I bought it on DVD originally and UMD, and I own it on Blu-ray.
UMD, Jesus.
Yeah, I had it on my PSP, obviously, and now I'm buying it on 4K, so it's out in like 5 days' time.
I probably will buy this like in 4K as well. Like, just it's one of them movies that like I just like to have.
Well, I used it on my PS3 to test out my Blu-ray player, and I used it on my PS4 because it's one of the that looks cool. So I'm really interested to play it in 4K on my PS5 to go.
It's also it's also one of the few like movies and stuff that you would want to watch that isn't on Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything like that. So
yep, you're absolutely right.
So it's the type of movie that you might go every so often, like, oh, I'll chuck that on. Like, I don't mind watching it again, and I would quite like to watch it in 4K.
The story's a bit, what's happening here? Like, what's going on? It's a bit strange. Like, three guys are trying to reunite Sephiroth.
It's all the story's all right, and like, but the action and shit's good.
Dilly dally, shilly shally. What'd you say? Dilly dally, shilly shally. Okay.
It's the bike and like the fucking the throwing up
with
like,
Sephiroth
and all, and the fight. Oh, it's fucking the fight at the end is just insane.
Bahamut, the fight
Bahamut. Yeah,
the fight him during it as well. So
yeah,
it's awesome.
You know what it makes that the spectacle is
awesome. It makes you want more, and it's like, do you know what? Do a series. Do a Final Fantasy VII series. Like, even do it now.
Make more games.
No, but I want to see more in the world. Like, show me what else is in the world. Like, I want to see over there. Like,
I mean,
what's Cloud out
you're
doing? Where did it go?
You're 100% getting that with Final Fantasy VII Remake and Remake Part 2 and Remake Part 3
a
and
TV
Remake
series.
Part 4, Remake Part 5.
Yeah, that will not see to the PlayStation 7.
No, this will come out on PlayStation 4 probably.
Not the whole lot. Not the whole lot.
Probably, like judging by how Sony's doing it, yeah, fucking right. It'll come to PS4.
But it'll be years. Like I'll be about 50 by the time we get Part 3. part 4, and then they want to remake the remake because it's like, oh, we need to bring it up to current gen, so they'll remake it, and then they want to do a complete edition that's the whole package. So I think we still get 3 parts for it. Like, I heard Kind of Funny talking about this, and I'm like, I don't think there's more than 3 parts. Oh, well, they might do like a prelude, or what was it called, like a afterlude, or they'll do an after thing. But I think there's going to be 3 main parts, like the game, like the discs.
The next game is not going to be called Final Fantasy Remake anything. It's going to be called Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, well, subtitle.
Different subtitle. It's not going to be called Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
No, do you still think it's going to be like, as we predicted, like open world now that the tech's there? Do you think this is going to be an open world Final Fantasy?
Yes, but it's not going to be what you expect.
No. Yep.
They will subvert your expectations as they did with Remake expertly. Genius.
It's okay.
Subversion.
I prefer Kingdom Hearts 3, and I didn't really like that game.
Fuck off. Kingdom Hearts 3 sucks. Final Fantasy 7 Remake is incredible.
You like it, and I'm glad for you, but it's not really for me. It's more like, see, when I get, I don't think that I'm stuck. Like, seeing God of War, I'll admit it, I'm stuck, and I'm stubborn. I'm not turning down the difficulty. I'm just not good enough for that bit.
Put it down. Put it down.
Yeah, but seeing 7, I'm like, I don't care enough. I've only tried the bit 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, do you know what? I generally don't give a shit if I ever finish this. That's what I came to the conclusion of. The only reason I'm downloading I've finished the main version 7, the original, the Progenitor, and that does.
It's a different game.
Yeah, it's a different game. Absolutely. But I preferred that. I preferred the JRPG version to this. It looked cool. I'll give it that. Mostly it looked cool. Some parts didn't look cool, but
well, most of that should be fixed with the integrated part of it, because I've already seen.
Do you think they've actually done though? How much work?
So they've definitely done work to some of the graphical assets in the game, because I've seen Spawnwave commenting about, because there was a big thing about this. There was a door in the game that looked like a PS1 graphic quality door, and people went nuts about it and moaned about it online, and.
Do you think they went into intricate detail, spent 2 years designing a door just to go?
They fixed this door.
Right.
Like, they fixed the door. They made it look like fit in with the rest of the world. It's modern. Like, it's good graphics on the door, not like some shitty asset. So they've done it with that. So I don't know if they've done it well.
Character models look great, even in the PS4 Slim, which I played it on. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure that's out at midnight tonight. But it might be like early hours of the morning I don't know. But I've downloaded the PS4 version anyway. But yeah, Ratchet's the game. Ratchet's the PS5 system seller. Ratchet's where it's at. Ratchet's the only one that's held its word. And then what they do is take off the bloom, the anti-aliasing, and release it at Christmas, because Horizon's getting delayed till next year.
And they give you load times instead of like instant rifts.
Yep, and no 4K.
They're like,
yep. And see, at the moment, I wouldn't put it past them. Like, see if Horizon gets delayed, they'll be chapping the door and going, guys, Ratchet, can you turn all the settings off? Right, run it on that PS4 dev kit. Is it playable? No, the Rift mechanic, can you change it to a load screen? Yeah, get it out for November. That's what's going to happen. I've got this bad feeling.
I actually don't. I don't think it is.
Can't comment. I know what you're saying. It looks like it couldn't, but then Gran Turismo 7, they've went, can you turn this off?
I totally agree that they could probably like brute force it and get it working on the PS4. Yeah. However, they're not. They're going to argue with artistic vision and all this, and Sony will have seen the slight backlash that they got from announcing that God of War and Gran Turismo were PS4 as well, and they'll go, do you know what? We need to give these PS5 people like something to go like, yeah, okay, we'll just hold on our PS5s right now.
Yeah, because basically
that's what it is. Like, we're just holding.
In the whole year, Ratchet's the only exclusive, because even Oddworld's coming to Xbox. However,
yeah, I mean, the thing is though, like, everybody that owns a PS5 right now, right? They are in they're in a seller, but no, not even that. They're in a sellable position, because they can sell it right now and get more than they paid for it.
Yep, after having it for 6-7 months.
That has got to be always in the back of their head. Like,
why not just
Sony doesn't want you to sell. Yeah, Sony doesn't want you to sell your PS5 because they want you to be the future of their company. Like you're going to be the person that buys their games in the future,
Yeah.
and they want you to have your whole ecosystem on PS5 because it's faster for you to buy your games, faster for you to download your game, faster for you to play your game. They want it all to be on PS5.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to sell your PS5. So they need to give you something to keep it.
But even
And
if you don't
Ratchet
sell
is that right now.
even if you don't sell secondhand, Andy, you can sell, like, if you don't sell personally secondhand, you could trade it into a store and make more money at the
Yeah.
moment than you paid it for.
Totally.
And it's
Yep.
nuts. You could make, if you wanted to take the risk on eBay or Amazon, you could easily add £100 to your consoles, the price you bought it for, and people will snap it off your hands.
Yep.
Especially coming closer to Christmas, you're talking add £200 to that price and people snap it out your hands. So if they don't give people, like you said, a reason, Horizon's not the reason because it's cross-gen. Ratchet is, and I know, sorry, Returnal and Destruction All-Stars, but they're not triple A titles in my mind. They're kind of
Double A's, maybe.
double A maybe, a push.
Yeah.
So like Ratchet's the only AAA game this year, the only AAA exclusive to PS5.
That we know about right now.
Yeah,
There may be
because
more.
they did make a point that Miles Morales was revealed in June and came out that winter. Like no one knew about it till June, and then they brought it out. So
Yep.
E3 does reveal a lot. They could say, "Oh yeah, we've got this game." Folk could be like, they could have Miles Morales 2 ready and go, "Yeah, we're bringing out Miles." They won't, but they could.
Yeah. I don't
And
think so.
then it's
Yeah.
out. No, I don't think so either. But that's an example because last year it happened. They went, "Look, Miles Morales." I went, "Holy shit!" And they went out this year. I went, "No fucking way!" And they've done it. But for some reason, at this point before E3, folk are like, "Nah, there's not enough time to announce an exclusive." And I'm like, "But they've done it time and time
It is.
again." They've done it last year with Miles Morales. That's a huge game, still hitting #1 in the charts because people are buying it on the PS5. So we could get another one. But at the moment, like you said, Andy, there's some people that aren't in the know, that aren't in the E3 frame of mind, that are like, what the fuck did I buy this for? All my pals can play the same games on PS4.
Yep.
Hold on, I can make money off of this still. I'll take it down to my local... obviously, because it's a business name. And
Any shop.
it could be any shop. My local game shop, and I'll make at least £20 on what I paid for it 7 months ago. Or I could take a chance on Facebook Marketplace to Mary down the road and make £100 and then have her coming back and saying, "Oh, it doesn't work." So, up to you. I know what I prefer. I prefer going to my local game shop because it's peace of mind. That would have been a good advert if I'd actually said the name of the shop. But anyway, you made a valid point. Sony don't want that happening. So, however, on the flip side of it, Sony are a business, Andy, and I could absolutely, with the fact they've done it to Gran Turismo, if Horizon has to get pushed to next year, I could absolutely see them going, execute Ratchet Plan B, and then it's exclusive to PlayStation 5 for 6 months, and you can get it at Christmas, because they need a holiday game. They need a holiday game, and Horizon's set to be it, but they've been very cautious. We've seen very little of it, even in that gameplay. Looks ready, but what if it's not? That was a contained section. We spoke about that last week. So if they've got nothing, they just go bloom, anti-aliasing, shadows, graphics, polish, ray tracing, load times in instead of rifts. Boom. It's out on PS4. And Andy will cry.
I won't cry, right? Because, like, personally, I'm not going to buy Ratchet.
But that would annoy you.
Anyway,
that would annoy you if they did that, even if you don't buy it.
It would, right? And like I will buy Ratchet to try it at some point. Like probably not this month because I'm deep in other games at the moment, and I want to focus on those and not get distracted by the new shiny. I'm trying not to do that.
I had this pre-order
and
like day one of pre-order though because I love it.
Yeah, totally. Like, but Ratchet looks cool and like it's not one that I've been in particularly interested in before. Even out of the mascot series is like Ratchet, Sly, and Jack and Daxter. Like Sly Cooper was the one that I liked. And even that I didn't get into that until the PS3 gen, so I don't have any nostalgia for any of those games. Like
Ratchet
so, did you play then? Did you play any of them on the PS2?
Ratchet, I bought Ratchet the day it came out from Game Centre in Kilmarnock in the indoor mall. I loved it. I skipped college. I skipped college and went home, Andy. I bought the second one, bought the third one. I bought Agent Clank on PSP. I bought Size Matters on PSP. I bought Deadlocked. I bought All for One. I bought Q-Force. I watched the movie. I own the movie. I downloaded the random episode that was released in Canada and have it on my phone and occasionally fire it up and watch it. What else have I got? I've bought every one of them. I've got the HD collection on a Vita that I can't even play anymore. I've bought them all digital on the PS3. The only one I never played was because I had a PS4 at the point, was that Into the Nexus that I've tried playing on PS Now, and unfortunately just can't. PS3 day one for that Ratchet, I remember sitting going, this looks like a Pixar game, and now I'm seeing reflections in Ratchet's fucking pupils. I was so blind in the PS3 era. Now I am awake. I'm a believer.
On a pair of glasses.
Ratchet looks good, and the thing is that what excites Ratchet on the PS3 still looks good. Don't take that away. On the PS2,
It totally does. Yeah.
But this is going to be a showcase for the PS4, 5, 100%. And I think it was Paris that said, "What if this is a test for a Spider-Verse game for Spider-Man 3 or 2, and testing out portals and stuff? Imagine that'd be crazy cool." Plus, we're just getting into the Spider-Verse 2, if rumors are to be believed, that No Way Home in the title even sounds like he's went to another dimension. So it's multiverse sort of hype. So if they can tie this into even Miles Morales 2, if it's too late for Spider-Man 2 to do it, great, because I think that's the way they follow. Here's a question about Spider-Man before we go back to Ratchet and then move on to what you've been playing. Do you think that after Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man just hands it over to Miles? Because we've got an older Peter Parker. He's kind of training up Miles. Miles, even in Miles' own one, he kind of handed it over to him. Do you think that? Because I think the public's ready for Miles to take over. I don't think many people will complain.
I think that Spider-Man 2 will be both of them.
I agree, but do you think at the end, Peter says, "You're Spider-Man now"?
No, I think Peter's going to die in that game.
Similar idea, so you could have just said yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got there in a roundabout way. So the future of the series could be Miles.
In the first game, right, the coolest moment for me was there was a very brief moment where there was some kind of accident happened and Peter was incapacitated, and then you started playing as Miles, right? Like it was the explosion or something.
Yep.
And I was like, holy fuck, they've done a Metal Gear Solid 2 here. This is incredible. Like,
I wish they had done that.
Oh my god. And like that would have been mind blowing if they'd had you play the rest of the game as Miles, but they didn't do that. They backed off on it, but this does the hint of that there.
It is.
So 100% they could do that in the sequel. I think you'll play as both, and I think it would be cool as fuck if you could switch back and forth between them.
Yes, like in Grand Theft Auto.
Like Grand Theft Auto, yes. So
you
like
swap and Peter's eating a sandwich or Miles is at school and
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or like you're happen to switch over to him and he's fucking in the middle of a fight with Rhino. Like, oh shit. Like, here we go.
Or like Miles, like you switch to him and he's zipping out his school window, pulling on his mask. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I could see that happening.
I'd love that.
And here's a thought. What if Peter dies and it's one of those cases, it switches to Miles in the middle of the fight, and as you're swinging there, the cutscene, he's about to punch, like say Rhino, and Rhino just goes, poof, Peter's head goes, Miles is just too late.
His head just goes boom, and it's flying away.
Skyrim physics floats up to the sky.
And without even thinking, Miles just like goes to shoot it and like thinking it's a rock or something and zips in, and then he's like, "Oh my god!"
No, that's just very, very dark. No, but yeah, I could totally see something like that. Like, I'm coming, Peter, and you're on your way, and it's like, hang on, Peter, and you just don't get there, and Miles lives the rest of it. He gets more of a meaning to be Spider-Man because he feels that he has to live up to Peter's legacy, and he feels responsible for Peter dying. And then we could also get Spider-Gwen introduced. I would love to have a spin-off to Spider-Man.
I'm like so fucking down for that game. Like, if that's what the game is, like, oh my god, game of the year. Like, I'm fucking so down.
Yeah, hire us, writers. And then at the end you could go, "Hi, who are you? I'm Gwen Stacy." And she zips off. Turns out it's Gwen Stacy from another universe. But in Spider-Man, and what you do is you play in the spin-off to Spider-Man 2 will be Gwen Stacy. Spider-Man Gwen Stacy, and it'll be her universe, and at the end of it she'll fall through a portal, and that's when she shows up in Spider-Man 2 at the end. In Spider-Man 3, Miles finds out about the multiverse, right?
Yep.
And Gwen
just made a franchise.
And and Gwen has to help him in that, because you've just played as Gwen in her universe, and it could have that cool stylistic look from the Spidey-Gwen comics, And then, like I said, at the end, the multiverse happens, and Gwen's like, sucked away. And she goes, "Hi, I'm Gwen," and it ties into Spider-Man 2, where she meets Miles at the end. Spider-Man 3, you're swinging along as Miles, but Gwen's also in your universe, and the multiverse happens.
Yep.
Doctor Strange comes along, and he's all like, "Zap, zap, zap, zap," and he's like, "We've got to fix this, Peter," and he's like, "I'm not Peter." Miles is like, "Oh my god, this is this universe.
It's
Come with
one
me."
time.
Yep,
Yeah.
you come with me. Basically, come with me. And you could totally play on it, and folk would be like, "Oh my god, I know what happened in Avengers, but this is so cool." He takes you away, and he's like, "Peter, come here." Peter swings in, and Miles is like, falls to his knees, and he's like, "Peter, it's you." And he's like, "Who's this kid?" Yes. They have to work together as
He's
a
been
team.
the Spider-Man cinematic game universe, like, and that's going to be incredible if that's what they do. That's
Even
what
if
they should
I've said that and that happens, I will still be
Yep.
at every one of these moments. So yes, anyway, wrapping up, Ratchet and Clank's going to be good. Andy, what have you played this week?
So I did play Bloodborne late last night. As I was saying earlier, I tried to segue to, and Ali wouldn't let me because he was still talking about his game. But yeah, I did play Bloodborne. I did beat the boss that I was stuck on for a few weeks, Miko Lash. And when I beat him, he gave me a new hat, which is a giant cage on my head, which is fucking hilarious.
Like
So
in
it's like basically a cage that goes up like so, but this height.
like a bird cage?
I can't even get it in the shot. Like, but it's a giant cage, like that goes all over my head. And, like, there's a big gap at the top. It's like 2 heads worth of cage, basically, like this. Like, I'd be running about like this with a cage on my head. Look at me, I'm cage head man. Like, I don't know why, but like, he had a cage on his head, and it looked fucking so silly. So I kept that on. While I was playing. So I beat him, got another lantern, and then I got to another boss, which was very strange because like I got up to like basically the top of a tower, and then was a lady there in like a white wedding dress who I've seen before when I killed the giant spider, and I went up as if because she didn't seem to want to attack me. So like usually when someone doesn't want to attack you, usually you can talk to them. But like I walked up as if to talk to her, and she didn't have a prompt for me to talk to her, so I just killed her. That's what happens when you ignore me. You fucking die. So I killed her, and then like went into the next room, and then there's a pram there with a crying baby in it. And I'm like, okay. So you walk over to the pram, and then this giant fucking beast with like all these like sides jumps down and like it's like, the baby is mine. Like, or it doesn't even say anything. It just starts attacking you. You're like, okay. But what was it they called? It was like they called it a wet nurse or something. Mergo's wet nurse or something. I'm like, okay.
You know, a wet nurse was back in the day when the mum couldn't feed the babies. That was a
Yeah, I'm
nurse
sure that
came and fed the
yeah,
baby. Weird.
yeah, I'm sure that's what it said. So I tried to fight that, and I got it fucking like right down as well. Nearly killed it, but then it killed me, and I gave up for the night. But I will go back to that, and hopefully I'll be able to defeat that next week. I don't know. I don't know if that's the last boss or like getting near to the last boss, but like I think I'm nearly done. Honestly, like I don't think I'm too far away from finishing this one. And then after that, I'll need to buy bloody Dark Souls so I can try and do that because I want to fight that giant.
Are you
knight.
going to play it on PlayStation, Xbox, or are you going to play it on Switch?
No, I'll do PlayStation. I'll stick to PlayStation.
Was it on
PlayStation's easy
PS4?
to stream from.
I think
They did Dark Souls remastered on PS4.
of course, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So I can pick that one up. It's not too much. So I'll pick that up. But yeah, so like Bloodborne, I enjoyed my stream thoroughly on Monday, which I did not enjoy last week's video. It was torture last week, but this week I had a focused goal and I knew I could fucking beat it, and I'm like, yes, I can do this, and I did it, and I was very happy. I did try to game the Mikolash boss fight by rolling at specific points to try and get hits on him before I should have been able to, and I did manage to get a hit on him, but he still got away from me, and I still did have to fight him. But he didn't do like he'd been doing this electric attack on me that just was killing me in like 1 or 2 hits. But the time when I fought him, that I killed him, I managed to beat him before he did any of that attack to me. So I was very pleased with that because if I'd have got him down to like fuck all health and then he'd kill me with that, I would have been very pissed. But I did it, so I'm very pleased with that. Also, yeah, we played Gears last week. This Gears 5 is not as good as it was promised to be by that intro.
Opening,
like that intro was so fucking strong. Like it was excellent. And then since then it's been snow and snow and snow and more snow and fucking that skiff open world shit. Like, oh my god! And the funny dialogue from the beginning of the game's gone.
Yeah.
Like, there's no soul in this game anymore. The shooting mechanics and stuff are all still fine. But I feel the soul of the game's not there now. Like, Marcus isn't even there. It's just like
So you
Kate
get
and
soul,
what's
but
his
you're
name?
not a soldier.
Yeah, who's that? The
I got
Libertines?
soul, but I'm not a
Libertines.
soldier. Either them or the Killers.
Oh, maybe it was the Killers.
Cannot remember.
That's going to annoy me. I need to look that up right now.
I can't remember the rest of the song. I think that was just the intro or the chorus.
It was the Killers. It was the Killers, mate. You're right. The song's called "All These Things That I've Done." That was actually the only good part of that song. The rest of the song is trash garbage.
can't
That part
remember
is
it, so.
excellent, though. Exactly, exactly. You can only remember the bridge, like one line from the bridge. But anyway, yeah, Gears 5 beginning amazing. After that, it's lost its way. Aside from that, though, I did play. I've played the new season of Fortnite that I'll touch on briefly here.
Superman's
I'm till, like,
coming,
level
right,
4.
Andy? And we predicted this.
Superman is coming,
Black
yes, and
suited Superman as
Superman,
well.
Black Suit Superman as well. I don't care about Black Suit Superman,
I
but
do.
like the normal Superman costume looks fucking great.
Good.
Like,
How does he fly? Does he
excellent.
fly in? Does he glide like this with a cape? Like, that's going to be weird.
I mean, the animation that they showed in the trailer looked like he was flying, but like
Yeah, but how are you going to glide in? Because
he's
he's a skin.
gliding.
So,
He's gliding.
so you're going to have to go like that with a cape and just slowly glide
He's
in.
like this. He's
Yeah.
doing like this pose.
Yeah. All right. So
But
when you glide,
he looked fucking cool.
Yeah.
Right. So like the trailer they showed anyway, but he's not coming yet. It says 65 days, right?
So that's like
from
2 months.
to come, which is like 2 months away, which is too long. Like, the one thing I wanted to mention about it, like the gameplay stuff's all the same except there are aliens on it now, and there's UFO fighters and
Rick
things.
from
you
Rick
fly
and
around.
Morty is going to be in it, and his
Rick.
skin looks weird because it's like
It's cell shaded. It's a cell shaded
Yeah.
skin. Which is fine. They've done
They've done them
cell
before,
shaded stuff
yeah.
before in the game. So, what I wanted to talk about though is they've changed the way the battle pass works.
oh. I
So
haven't
normally
seen
you're
this yet.
doing, yeah. So normally you're doing your battle pass and like you're leveling up and you get battle pass levels and it goes up and up and up. And as you reach the different levels, you're getting like an unlock for like every so often, right? That's how it normally works. In this one, you're still like leveling up your battle pass sort of level, right? And I'm at level 4 right now. But as you're leveling up, all you're doing is you're earning stars.
And you spend
Right,
the stars, sort of thing.
Yes. So you then you then spend the stars in the battle pass menu. Like there's a battle pass shop that's got its own currency, which
I
is
don't like
stars.
that.
And I don't like it either. But the one thing I will say is that I will
You don't
probably
need to-
play as less because of this.
You don't need to buy all the crap.
Because
Whereas
you don't need to buy all the
yeah.
crap. You'll just focus on buying the shit that you actually want to buy. But they're
So-
locked to like little pages. So like the first page, to unlock the second page, you have to get to level 10 in the battle pass, or you have to unlock 4 things. So
Right.
you could do it either way.
Fair.
So like,
no, Joe,
I'm at
I
level
can see
4
the
already.
advantage because half the time all you want is a licensed skin like Rich Roth or like Neymar when
Yep.
he was in it and such like, and you have to go through a lot of crap and like I don't care what people say. The Fortnite skins are crap. Their own created characters. Don't want them. Just give me license all the time.
Some of them are funny, right? I don't mind that they're there,
The banana
and I don't mind
is
that
funny.
there is NPCs to talk to.
Yeah.
Right, but given the choice, I will never pick
No.
a Fortnite skin over Ant-Man or like
John
Rachel Roth or
Tomb
I mean I would pick them over John Wick or Lara Croft or Aloy from Horizon,
Flash,
like
Arrow,
you know,
Batman.
like all these people. Like I'm gonna pick them every fucking time. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
exactly.
pick. I'm not gonna pick the crab guy or like Jonesy or the banana guy or like the
Jonesy did
gladiator guy or any of those ones.
Jonesy did have a cool costume where he took
did.
Master Chief's chest piece. Remember, he had Ryu's band and he had Batman's
Yep.
gauntlet. That was cool, but it was because he was using licensed things on him. But
Yeah. So
in general, the only one I think's
I-
funny
I'll never
is
pick
the
them.
banana. Like the banana is hilarious.
and that is probably only because you dressed up as a banana for Halloween one time.
It's nothing to do with that, but I did. But I was a depressed banana. I didn't even want to go. I'm like, I'm going to be a banana. People are like, what are you? And I'm like, I'm a banana. Was that when you went as Rolf Harris?
I was not Rolf Harris.
You
I
were.
was Constantine.
You looked like
I
Rolf
was
Harris.
Constantine. I did not look like Rolf
I made
Harris.
you
I
put
looked
on
like
glasses,
Constantine.
and you knew what you looked like because in the photo you got, you're trying to move away because you're like, oh, don't take photos of me when I'm dressing up as Rolf Harris.
Constantine does not have glasses. He does not wear glasses.
But you had glasses
Constantine
on
looked
in the
fucking
photo I've got.
cool. No, I was Constantine. I had a gun. I had a fag. I had a lighter. Like
So did Rolf
I was
Harris, I'm
Constantine.
pretty sure.
No, I don't think Rolf Harris smoked.
I bet he did.
Betty, I was
He
Constantine.
shared many a
I
cigar
made a
with Sam.
cool. I made a cool like cross shotgun thing, like, and it looked badass.
Can you
It looked
tell
very
what
cool.
it is yet?
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, I did
Any-
dress up as a banana. But anyway, the only thing is, I would never play as a banana because cast your mind when we were playing. When you're looking for a player, especially with a bounty, 9 times out of 10, when it's a banana, you can see them halfway across the map. You're like, see if it's one of the cat
Yeah,
things or the furry looking things or another character,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
harder to spot. But see when it's the banana, you're like, there's
yeah.
the fucker there. Like, they even move silly. Do you know what I mean? So I would never dress up as a banana because it's basically a target.
Yeah. I mean, that's hard mode for that game. Hard mode.
Play.
But yeah,
Same.
apparently apparently this is the way that the Fortnite Battle Pass used to be before they changed it. Like it used to be like this. Like obviously before we played,
Yeah.
had any interest in it. But I don't like it.
I don't
Like
like it,
I
but I can see
preferred
its
the other
benefit.
way.
I can see its benefit, like
But
you've just said.
yeah, I can see the benefit where I'm going to play the game
Like I'll never
less
buy
because of that because
emotes.
I would.
I'll never buy
Yeah,
like spray paint. I'll never buy fucking emoticons that the kids
I
love.
did. I did buy one emote from the Battle Pass because it was a flying UFO ship and it looked funny.
I've probably got money to spend. I'll need to load it up on my Switch because that's where my battle pass is. I'm maybe going to change. I'm maybe going to cancel my battle pass and restart it on PlayStation because I'm never on it on my Switch now. Unless Switch Pro gets announced, then I'll leave it as is. So I'll leave it to next week.
Yeah, just leave it till next week. But yeah, like I will probably play this season less, which is good for me because it's a
Easier.
time sink at times to just like grind up those levels because I'm not really like doing anything or having any enjoyment out of
Also,
that.
like if you're
the
not
gameplay's fine,
if
but
you're not in the mood for it, like you know how you were like you could get Rachel, you've got another week. I wasn't in the mood to play Fortnite, so
yeah,
I didn't like that. Whereas if I had stars, I would have just bought her and went, there you go, I'm just gonna buy her.
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, there's no guarantee that she would have been in that system. But anyway, if she wasn't, so the Superman stuff is not in the game yet, though. Like it's there to
Which is
look at,
pointless.
but
I'm
you
sorry.
cannot get access to
I'm
it.
sorry. Superman's probably one of the most iconic pop culture figures for your mums. Your grandparents will recognize Superman. You can't show
Yeah,
Superman and go, yeah, but you're not getting him for 2 months. You can't. You should have kept him a secret.
yeah. I don't. I do think he'll come sooner than 2 months, right? And I think that's just a sort of placeholder date. But maybe they'll unlock it over the E3 week, where it'll be like, well, Superman's in the game now. You can
You
go and
can
like try
play
and
as
unlock
him
him.
as well. What I heard is they're going to give you chances to play as him. Do you know what I mean? But I want him as my skin. We talked about this ages ago. Remember
Yeah,
when we thought this season was going to be DC? I was like, I want Superman, and how will they make his glider come in? Because
and I mean,
Batman's cool
it.
because the way that it works is when your glider activates, your cape kind of disappears and it looks like you're just unfolding your cape. Batman works
Yeah,
gliding though. Superman like kind of slowly doing this kind of
yeah.
sucks in a way.
I mean, he didn't look
Black
slow in
Superman,
the trailer they showed.
Black suit Superman would make sense because that's meant to be Superman kind of weakened from his fight with Doomsday, so that would make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But the Superman skin looks cool. I
Do you know
do
what
want to
looks cool?
unlock that. But what?
This is the first time I've said this. Sorry, keep interrupting. I'm not sorry. I'm not gonna lie. The umbrella that you win from getting a chicken dinner, not chicken dinner in this, the Victor Royale, is a UFO like that spins. That's the umbrella, and
Yeah.
I've never wanted an umbrella in it because you can win them pretty easily at least once in a season. This time I'm like, I want that umbrella. I'm not probably going to use it, but I just think it's cool to see. The one thing I'm disappointed, here's what I found out. Did I tell you this, Andy? See the comics. I'm not cancelling them now. Every item in the comics is getting released in the shop. It's just timed exclusive. If I'd known
But you have to
this,
pay money. You do have to pay money for it. So
absolutely, you have to buy it in the shop. But like Batman, the armored Batman that I'll probably get is available in the shop at the end of July once the last comics came out, and I'm like, I kind of
man.
wanted something
yeah,
special.
I'll be back
though.
on one day.
Sorry, I'll talk about that then. I kind of wanted something special. We've touched on it before, where they were releasing the things in the store and they were different colors, and that would have been cool if like they'd done that for the comic. Like you can only get the gold version here. But when I found out that the skins that I'd got the comics for weren't totally exclusive, yeah, would I have bought the comics? Maybe not. But then again, comics are kind of cool to collect anyway. But at the same time, I feel kind of pissed off that I didn't know buying the comics that these weren't going to be exclusive, because that's kind of what I got from when they said that they were releasing this exclusive. They said exclusive Batman Armored skin, and it's only recently they've now said they're going to be in the store as well. And I'm like, fuck off. Yep. Make them buy the comic like I did. Like, this is bullshit. They should have done something special. And like, we even said that I was disappointed with the Catwoman's grappling hook, and I'm like, but it's not even a different color or a special edition. There's nothing to make me buy these comics, bar keeping them up in the loft and thinking some Fortnite guy might buy these later down the line, which they will, because I've bought the variants as well. I bought every edition. I bought all 3 versions of the comic, and simply for monetary value, I've got full sets of the both variants.
In 100 years, that will become the rarest Batman comic.
Potentially, yeah, because most kids will have ripped it up and took the code and then
exactly.
So I'm keeping.
You have a mint condition
one. Yep. I got the standard set 1 to 6 year standard covers to read.
Here's the question: were the comics actually any good?
Do you know what? The first one, I read the first one, and I haven't had time to go down to the 2 and 3. It was actually all right. Like, I will read them.
Okay.
What I'm planning on doing is, I think I've got 1 to 4 now, so there's only 2 more issues to come out. Once 5 and 6 have came, then I'll read the whole set and I'll cover it on the show and say what it was like, because it's game related. But the first issue was pretty decent. I'm like, yeah, I could read this, but the variant ones are getting kept. Back to Fortnite though, I will fire up this season simply because of Superman. Is Rick part of the battle pass is my question, or is he purchasable in the store? Yep. He's battle pass, then I'm all in for this.
Battle pass. But he's one of the later tiers of the battle pass. You need to get up to, I think it's like level 40 or something like that.
That's easy for me, as you know.
To get him. Yeah.
Like, the battle pass levels are no issue to me. What it is like the grind for the quests that I'm like, meh, because I think it would be easier with a team, and I know I could play with other people, but you know what I'm like, playing with other people, and it's like I don't really want to. It's no offense to these other people.
I actually grind out like a lot of the quests on my own, like, and just in.
That's not what I mean. I'm saying
Rumble.
It is easier for certain quests to play with other
some
people.
Of the quests,
because especially if it's like pick up such and such an item that only appears in battle royale, you could do with people watching your back. Because if you go in yourself, it's easier to die. Because some
you
of
get
these
the ones that's like revive a teammate, all that sort of shit. Yeah.
So yeah, I will play it for Rick. Again, I'm not really overly interested in aliens. However, with the government releasing all the UFO documents, which to me is crazy.
UFOs are real. Oh my god.
Yeah, like, I always knew that they kind of were, but like, see, if you'd said that to someone in the 80s and 90s, they'd be like, you're crazy. You're absolutely insane. Of course they're not.
Yeah.
And now Barack Obama made a statement yesterday saying, yeah, I've seen the files, I've seen the evidence, and yeah, we're still investigating it. It's like, what? Like, why is this just getting... This shows you how... And we were talking about it yesterday in the group chat at one point. It shows you how desensitized we are to this sort of information in this era. Like, people are like, yeah, sure, why wouldn't they be? If you'd said this, like, in the 90s even, like, in the early 2000s, people would have been like, what?
Yeah.
And they're actually coming out and saying that they were proving things and they were putting out false information, and the reason isn't because there was UFOs, it's because they would have had to admit that they had no control of their own airspace, and Russia could have invaded knowing this. So they made out that UFO sightings were made up, even though the Navy knew it was real. People from Area 51 knew it was real. They all knew that UFOs were real. They didn't know who it was. They weren't describable. If they came out with that news and confirmed it, then Russia could have invaded, or China, or Japan, or whatever. So they played on the fact that no, there's no such thing, and they hyped it up, and they created the whole little green man to make it sound like you were cuckoo. And now they're saying, oh no, it's real. We've had $3 billion spent investigating them. We still can't figure it out. They've done no harm to us, but their movements aren't from this earth. They move at the speed of sound. This is legitimate government documents, and to me, it's like, this is mad. Even if I say this to my mum, right, she will say, this is your X-Files stuff. And I'm like, no, mum, the government are declassifying documents, and they've actually come out and said UFOs. But she's from the old generation where she'd be like, no, they're not real. They fucking are. And like, there's interviews
See, unless it's reported on the front page of the Sun, well,
Oh,
not the
the
Sun, like
fucking
the
Daily Mail or
whatever
something
paper,
bullshit. The
whatever paper
Express,
she reads,
Guardian, or
unless
whatever.
it's reported in that
She's not
paper
believing it.
or on like
Yeah.
the BBC, like BBC News,
Yeah,
then it's not. It's not to be believed
they've
by
wrote an
that
article,
generation.
but it wasn't front page. So they're almost
Yeah,
slipping this information out, like Fraser said, during a pandemic as well, so that people won't go, what? There's been people thrown in, I don't want to say lunatic asylum, but like mental health asylums because of this, because they've said UFOs are
hmm
real. They've been called crazy by
yeah,
the government. And now this is saying to me, did this person know more? Did they actually know more? And the government went, we need to get them the fuck away because they know actual info. There was a sorry to die. I'm not sorry. I'm going to stop apologizing for stuff I'm not sorry for. There was a thing on Netflix I watched. I'm sure I talked about it, where the guy actually worked in Area 51, Andy, right? He was a scientist and he was taken from a bus and he was through checkpoints, and he said he actually worked on an element that wasn't found on this earth. He took some of this element and he tried to go public about it. The government in America erased his college history, his work history. They removed his status as a doctor. They removed his status as a renowned scientist. They took away all his qualifications so that when he came out, they could call him crazy. And if you looked up in the system, they'd erased his history. He went to his mum's house in this documentary. He sounded quite sane and he pulled out leaflets. This is obviously, see, before the government recently have said UFOs are real, I was even
yeah,
like, he's nuts. He pulled out his certificate from college saying he graduated. He showed his class photo with him in it.
mm.
He had photos with his college friends
Ev-
saying,
Actual evidence,
actual
like
evidence,
hard copy
hard
evidence. Yeah.
copy evidence of him attending. He had a copy of the register from his class showing his name. And see, when he went on the
Mm.
computer and showed the guy making the documentary, his name was erased. He was removed from the photo. He was removed from everything. During this so this guy sold chemicals. I'm trying to remember the name of the thing. He sold chemicals. He was a scientist. Blah blah. They tried to defraud him. They tried to take away his license and everything. During this documentary, the guy asked a question or to see the element or something. He said, I'll show you, but we need to leave mobile phones. You can take the cameras, so the cameras were there, but we need to leave the mobile phones. And he's like, the government are listening. They went into the middle of the woods, Andy, well away. Even the guy that was making the documentary said, my mobile phones, blah, blah. The government that night raided his laboratory, turned it upside down. So the next day when they went in and filmed, they're like, what happened here? And see, in my head, I went, he's cuckoo, he's destroyed it himself. But now that I know this, they basically turned it upside down because he admitted to having some of the element when they were in the woods. He said, I have it and I can show you. They went to
Yeah.
the lab the next day and the government had turned it upside down. They'd completely wrecked it. So they had been listening in somehow, pinpoint satellite, I'm guessing, to the woods.
Maybe.
They heard it somehow and they raided his laboratory the next day to try and find the element. And he said, I would not keep it on my work premises because this could get me arrested or thrown away for life. You would never hear from me again. And he said that there was people watching him every day when he got thrown out. There was cars outside with the black men, the men in black, blah, blah. It turns
Yeah.
out that this could all be fucking real. Because if there
Mm.
was a legitimate spacecraft that had crashed and it moved, as they described, like a stone skimming water, you've seen the real evidence of it was from a Navy planes, remember? And it showed you, look at them moving,
Yeah.
they're all jerky.
Yeah.
So if they found an element from this, whatever, I don't, they, in the report, the government basically said, we can neither confirm nor deny the proof of aliens. So they either know or they don't have a fucking clue about the aliens. They've either never got out the spaceship or they know fine well and they're not releasing that information.
Like, the things could just be like probes. Like, see, like we are sending to Mars right now.
Yeah, it could be probes
they're
from
just
another planet to check us out.
probes,
Yeah,
yeah.
from an event.
Yeah.
It could be. But at the same time, like, there's got to be some form of intelligent life that's behind them. So, like, the thing is, it just baffles me that this has been kind of released during a pandemic, and I think it's to kind of quash the impact of it, so that people will read it and they're like, yeah, but what about this Delta variant? What about the next variant? I even read it and went, do you know what? I'm more concerned about the numbers of cases, blah, blah. And then I went back and went, hold on, what? And I know I'd heard about Project Blue Book being on,
Yeah.
like, and I know that I'd heard this. So all through this month, there's going to be more and more information about
Mm.
not alien. I won't say aliens. What they're calling it is it unidentified
Yeah.
aerial phenomenon or whatever. And Barack Obama
Yeah.
yesterday,
UFO.
UFOs. But Barack Obama yesterday coming out saying, yeah, I've seen the findings, I've seen the tapes. Yeah, we're still working on it. Yeah, it's like a joke to you yesterday. It's like, Mr. President, what would you like your first act in office to be? show us them UFOs, baby. And they turn around and go, okay, Mr. President. You'd be like, I was joking, but sure. That's nuts.
Like, holy shit, yeah.
That's nuts. But anyway,
I mean,
like,
I think it is very very naive of people to think that there's no other
that we're the
intelligent
only
life in the universe.
sentient form of life in this
Yeah,
entire,
like
maybe in this galaxy, but in the universe that's constantly.
look how it's constantly expanding. Look how big it is. Like you just have to look at like a video of like size comparisons of objects in the universe and like
Yes.
compare Earth to like all the other shit that's out
Our
there. Like we
galaxy,
are
Andy,
just a fucking
we're a
speck of
small,
dust.
like even
Absolute speck of dust.
our galaxy, the Milky Way, compared to other neighboring galaxies, we're like this, and they're like
Tiny.
giants.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy, but it's the fact that we have been visited by something.
Probably.
No, we have. Like, these are not man-made objects.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
This is what I mean. Like, I'm not saying green men. I'm not saying spider creatures are coming. I'm not saying the here's a segue. I'm not saying the Thorians are coming here or the the Quarian but you know what I mean. We've been visited by a higher intelligence race of some sort. They've sent probes, like you said, which is more likely. Like, let's go see what these fuckers are up to. They've already polluted their oceans and outside the fucking atmosphere so thick that we couldn't see the planet. Apparently, that's true. The amount of space crap that we've dumped in the ozone, like outside the atmosphere, is enough that it would block Earth from a lot of things. So,
I mean, that's probably why they've left all that shit up there. They're like, there's the debris shield up there. That's fine.
we can't get them, sir. There's too many cans of Coke. Leave the Earthlings be. Plus, perfect marketing for Fortnite anyway. That's what I was meaning. And also, perfect for Space Jam 2 coming. Even though Space Jam 2 isn't aliens from the looks of it. But, hey.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But anyway, like segueing from that into other games about leaving the Earth behind and moving on to other planets because their planet is so fucked. Well, no.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about that first of all because I'm talking about Outriders. So I went back to Outriders the weekend there, and they've not really done very much to the game, but it's still really fun. We're still progressing through the story. I'm playing this with Mark and Ian, so we're playing 3-player. Definitely the way to play it for sure. And we were getting through okay. It was difficult, but we were getting through. And then we had a mission, and it was like there was a big sort of courtyard, and we had to fight a bunch of guys. And then we got rid of those guys, and then two big like I don't know, they looked like green rhinos basically. Two big green rhino type things came and attacked us along with a bunch of other shit, and they killed us a couple of times. But the annoying thing about the fight was that it put you back to the very beginning of the first fight. Like it wasn't a saved stage part, which is it really bugs me when games do that. It's like here's like basically a boss fight, and then you get through that, and it's like okay, cool, right, I did it, and then it basically gives you another boss fight right after it, which is fine. But it doesn't fucking save it in between them. So when you die, you've got to go back and do the first boss fight again, which was quite tough in the first place. So, we tried that 3 or 4 times and like we gave up in the end. But I did discover when I was exiting the game and just tinking around in the menus a little bit, I discovered that like because I knew that we were on sorry, not a high world tier. I knew we were on a world tier. I knew we'd turned down the world tier once, right? But I didn't realize how that really related to the difficulty, right? Because when we played it at first, this is where it has been updated. Because when we played it at first, it just gave you a number for the world tier, and that was it. I don't believe there was an actual word associated to the world tier. But now there is a word associated to the world tier. So when I looked, we had previously been playing on world tier 6, right? And then I had another look, and we were currently on World Tier 5 because we'd put it to that. And World Tier 5 is expert difficulty. Expert difficulty, Ali. I have no business playing a game on expert difficulty, like let alone a game on a third-person shooter series that, like you've seen my abilities with Gears of War, the Gears of War series. Should I be playing on expert difficulty? Is the question I must put to you when you return. But yeah, so should I be playing at expert difficulty? But we were getting through the game, not fast, and it was difficult as fuck, but we were managing to do it. But yeah, I think that putting this game down to normal difficulty, which is dropping it 2 difficult levels, I think we're gonna like get through this no problem at all. And I think it's gonna be much more fun for it because the actual shooting mechanics are absolutely spot on. The movement is absolutely fine for this type of a game. There's no like platforming elements, anything like that, and it is move from place to place, run, sprint. There's no jumping. Duck behind cover. Fantastic cover mechanics in this game. So I was asking you there, Ali. Oh, he's not back yet. Fantastic cover mechanics in this game, like far superior to Mass Effect. Far superior to Mass Effect. So, do I have any business playing Outriders, a third-person cover-based shooter, on expert difficulty based on your knowledge of my playing of Gears of War?
Is it the hardest level?
It's not the hardest level because we did start on the hardest level, which was Master, and now we're on Expert. That we didn't know that this was the difficulty levels.
You're playing me in Mark. I wouldn't think it would be.
I mean, no, just no. I have no business doing this difficulty, zero. And like even those guys, like they're finding it real fucking tough as well. Like Mark's doing better than me and Ian. I'm not that surprised about that, but he's doing better than us. But we like collectively, it's a struggle to get through some of these fights. So I dare say we could do it, but it's like really frustrating when you're dying over and over again because of the way their sort of revive system works. Because it's basically like Gears, like you can pick someone up or you get one self revive each. But the annoying thing about it, and I this like actually affects it more than you would think. Because see in Gears you can still crawl around when you're downed, but in this you can't. Like you're static downed and you just have to sit there and wait and either revive yourself or wait for your teammate to come and revive you. And that annoys the shit out of me because it means that you can't like. Because see when you get down in Fortnite or like Call of Duty or whatever. You're always trying to like reposition yourself just to that little bit into like cover or something like that, so that you're maybe slightly easier to revive, so that whoever is coming in can jump over to you and revive you safely. But in this game, it's just like, nah, you're down. You're just fucking down wherever. Like you could be right in the middle, like a big bunch of enemies. You've got no option to move out the way of them. Like you're just stuck. So I think that's actually a mistake. They should let you move when you're down. Just crawling about slowly would be fine. But I think that ditching the difficulty down in this game is going to make it fucking great. Like I think I'm going to have an amazing time with this game once I ditch the difficulty down. So I'm hoping the guys will be up for playing more of that this week now that I've discovered that, and it will make. I think it's going to make the game 10 times more fun. Yeah, I mean, aside from that, the only other thing that I played was Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I'm still working my way through Mass Effect 1. I am currently about 12 hours or so into the game, and I am on Feros now. I have done the Nova. What's it called? Novo something. Novaria. Yeah, I've done that planet. That was okay. I did the Vermeer planet, and Vermeer. Yeah, which I kind of enjoyed that one. Like, so you had to kill the Rachnes. Rachne, yeah, I'm going to butcher all the names because I don't know them all. Like, I had to do the Rachne, and I let the Queen live and let her go, and the council people were not fucking happy with me for doing this. So I don't know if that's going to come back to bite me later, or maybe it might help me later. I don't know. I was very kind of compassionate though to that Rachne Queen. Like, she seemed okay. The other ones were like absolutely not, but they said that they were basically like mindless killing drones. I'm like, okay, I suppose it wasn't your fault that like all these people did all these things in the past. You get a chance. Like I know you're like Hitler's grandniece or whatever. Like you don't deserve to be tarnished with his crimes. That's fine. You can go out.
Weaponized.
We'll see what you do.
But off you go into the universe.
Well, no, she wasn't. She was just like being tortured. Like
she was made in the lab. We do know if you listen to it.
No, she was an egg. It said they got. She
was frozen, but she was also one of the first in the lab injected with God knows what.
Oh God! I made a terrible mistake.
You've seen Mass Effect 3. I don't want you to look it up. I don't want you to ask anyone. I don't want you to discuss this conversation outside of this podcast. Do not tell Andy what happens, but you will find out in Mass Effect 3. I'm not telling you either way, but that's probably the biggest decision in Mass Effect 1, apart from the crewmate one, that affects the overall trilogy, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say.
So like
Anyway.
I did the mission with the crewmates as well, and
Setting the
I had
bomb, was
initially
it?
chosen
After you
setting the
meet
bomb. Yeah,
Sovereign,
so I'd
you fight
initially
Saren for the first time.
yeah. So I'd initially chosen that Caden would be the guy to go and set the bomb because he said, "Look, I'll go and set the bomb." And then Ashley was like, "No, I'll do it." But it ended up being Caden went with
The
I
team
sent him with the people
Solarians. Yep.
with the Solarians. Yeah, sent him. I couldn't remember what they're called. I sent him with the Solarians, right? And as soon as I made that decision, I was like, I actually kind of regret that because this Ashley woman is a fucking arsehole. Like, she's really racist.
She
Not my
isn't.
wife, obviously. My wife's name is Ashley. She's lovely.
She's
But
very
the
discriminative
woman in this
towards
game,
aliens because of what happened to her grandfather. But you can talk her out of it, but then she won't speak to you for the rest of the game. The only reason I prefer her is because her character model looks a lot better in the second one. Caden's insignificant. I forgot he existed in Mass Effect.
well, I'm not going to see that. Like, I'm not. I'm probably you probably got him killed then. So, but I'm not
kill him
going to
every
see
time.
the Ashley
I
character
forgot.
model.
I forget he's in it every time. And the only reason that I see him is because every time I'm running to the elevator, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that guy's in my crew. I'll go and speak to him because I'm going to see Liara in the doctor's office." And I'm like, "Yep, Caden, he sucks."
But yeah, I mean, I don't like him either. I've never had him in my party. I have always in my party. I have Liara and I have Garrus in my party.
He has a
Those are the two people that I have.
He is a bionic. He has powers. He was like kind of brought up in a orphanage, if you will, where the kids were experimented on, and he was like a second gen or third gen bionic, and
Okay.
he has night terrors and stuff. But yeah, he's awful. He's just awful. Right. You don't really need him ever. I've never ever any playthrough, including the very first time, included Captain Boring Pants of the universe. Never mind of the seas in my party. So no, Caden can fuck off. Ashley,
yeah, I'm quite happy having. I'm quite happy having Liara and Garrus in my party. I don't care about the other ones. Like,
Liara's cool. Garrus is the best.
Rex seems okay, but I preferred Drac from Andromeda. So and none of these characters are as cool as Cora from Andromeda. Yeah, Cora is much cooler than all of these.
You're incorrect, and you've only got half a picture. So I will wait and you eating your words when you see Garrus's character development in the second one, especially. Liara also. Once you get to.
Yeah, she seems cool because obviously I did the mission because her mum was involved and stuff like that. It was interesting.
She's one of the she was the matriarch Benezia, but like Liara is one of the most mentioned ones in Andromeda when you're in your room. Like, see all the findings. It's Liara Sony's findings that you're reading.
Okay.
So when you go in, it's the findings of Liara Sony, and some of them are voice logs and such, and they're about alien creatures. And because she was one of the pioneers discovering stuff, if you remember, she was working in things and. The Prometheans she was studying, so she was almost a warning to the new party. Because if I'm right, I think the Andromeda arcs / ships were sent either at the end of Mass Effect 2 or Shepard sent them away during Mass Effect 3 to kind of try and save some of the people on Earth, because Mass Effect 2 and 3 are much more based around our own, like the Milky Way is in Mass Effect 1, but you don't get in Mass Effect 3 you're on Earth. Mass Effect 2 you're definitely within the Milky Way, if you know what I mean. You get to see Mars. I'm sure you get to go to Mars. I'm sure you can land in Mars in Mass Effect 2 or 3. 2, I want to say. You can definitely land there. But you will be eating your words. So Rex, I want to comment on. So we're going to spoil it if you've not seen it. There's a section that Andy came to that I want to talk about in a minute where you asked me, could I something? Rex becomes something. And you don't really have much to do with them from Mass Effect 2 onwards. I'll say that. Yeah. There is, however, another Krogan that I can't say I prefer him to Rex, but you'll probably like him. He's definitely better than whatever I don't even remember the guy's name from Andromeda, and you can tell I remember a lot of Mass Effect names. I haven't played as much Andromeda.
Yeah, in Andromeda.
Yeah.
Drac.
Not as good, but Rex there's a certain section by him that you can, and the fact that you can do that to him shows you that he's not needed in the overall story. However, I like where his story ends up.
Okay.
There's different. Also, I'll let you talk about it in a minute, but there's different ways of dissolving that situation instead of just talking, and the other option. But I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, so like I got to a point in a conversation with him where he was annoyed about he was annoyed because these guys had developed a cure for what's it called, the disease.
So basically, sorry,
I forget what it was because
I can't listen to you with this. So basically,
I do know the basics of this, right? Because
let's hear the basics then.
What's the species? I can't remember the name of the species.
So basically, Saren, what he done. So years ago, the Krogans made an attempt to take over the entire galaxy, right? So the Solarians put a stop to it by developing the genophage, which would mean that only 1 in 1,000 Krogans could reproduce, which would effectively lead to the extinction of the species, especially when they're predominantly born male because it's a warrior species. So it turns out that Saren has actually found a cure to the genophage in conjunction with the Prometheans. Not the Prometheans, the Reapers, and he has found a way to make his own clone Krogan army, because sometimes he's got Krogans he'll throw at you, and this could cure the extinction problem the Krogans are facing. So Rex naturally is a bit pissed off that you're like, I'm going to have to destroy this so Saren can't make any more, and you're about to blow up a laboratory. So yeah, he pulls a gun out on you. He's like, don't make me regret trusting you, Shepard.
And yeah, so like you've got kind of a couple options, and you can kind of talk him down, or you can actually just shoot him, which I thought was interesting. I'm like, holy shit! Like, can I actually just kill him? And I sent you the picture of it, and you're like, yeah, you can if you want. I didn't kill him. Like, I chose not to because like he's okay. I don't mind him. Like I said, I don't like him as much as I like Drac. That genophage thing, like the only reason it rang a bell to me because I'm like, this fucking happens in Andromeda. Because there's a thing to do with finding a cure for this in Andromeda, and I'm sure that they do find a cure, but there's something weird with it. I can't remember 100% it, but I'm sure there's a cure kicking around.
So I cannot wait for you to finish 3. I don't hate Mass Effect Andromeda, you know this. I probably think it fits. It's my least favorite of them all, mostly because of how far away from this it is. Like, you'll see how this is basically like, this is the original trilogy of Star Wars, and that's maybe Attack of the Clones in comparison, is my mind. Which is good, but it's my least favourite of the prequels. I wish they'd done a couple. I think Andromeda could have been phenomenal as its own trilogy, and it's such a shame that people panned it. I don't think it was as bad as people made out. But the genophage thing, I don't want to tell you obviously anything about it because you're seeing this, but I love the way that you talk about Andromeda, and it's like, but Mass Effect 2 is, it's not only one of the best games in the series, it's the best game, one of the best games of all time, and I definitely think you agree with that. And the story, like the story in this game that I'm sure you're going to talk about in a minute, is a highlight, because regardless of any negative connotations people might have and whatever you might say about this down the, I know what you're going to say about it, but like for me the storyline makes all of that insignificant, because it's giving you a world that, like Gary Whitta put it beautifully, like you don't feel like you're playing a game, you feel like you're existing in the world. You don't feel like you're going to your ship, you've got the Normandy, you kind of start getting familiar. I know you haven't yet, but you do get familiar with Seasick.
Oh, I get lost in the Normandy.
I know what it means.
Definitely
they've definitely created a world that you feel like you're, oh, what's happening today? You know, like it doesn't feel like it doesn't fully feel like you're playing a game, like macro sections aside. It definitely feels like, because the story and the world building's so well done, it feels like you're joining a universe for a short amount of time. So that to look back to Rex before you continue on. So there's like, you can be Paragon, Renegade, talk him down. You can shoot him, but basically, I'm sure what happens during that is you go to shoot him, your rep malfunctions, he goes, goodbye, Shepard, and Ashley or Caden kill him. I'm sure that's what happens. I could be wrong, but I'm sure that's what happens. Or if you've done his side quest, which is kind of like his crew quest, and you found his family's armor, you don't have to do any of that, because he instantly decides to go with your lead because you've already done a huge thing for him, because you can find his family armor after this, Andy. You just have to have a few more conversations in the hall with him, and basically what it will say is, my family armor's lost, you have to go and get it. So you go and find it for him, and it's a cool fucking, it's not just like an item or like a cutscene. You get the armor, and it's got good stats to it. It's not too difficult a mission either. So if you do that, that's another option. So the amount of branching fucking paths, even from one decision like that, like, you kill him, he's gone for the rest of the trilogy. Like, he's gone. So whatever happens in 2, there's a certain thing with the Krogans that happens that Rex is a main part of, and if he's dead, then it's someone else that you end up going and dealing with. Like, I've never killed him in any playthrough because I quite like Rex, but he leaves. He's not part of, like, I can't even tell you the start of Mass Effect 2. I can't even name certain things. Basically, he's not.
I'll get there soon enough. Like,
you're you're about 3/4 of the way through, I would say, at this stage.
Yeah, I'm a good chunk of the way through it. Like, what I would say about this game is, I've actually got a question for you about the game, right? See with the choices, right? So sometimes the choices are grayed out.
Yes.
Right. So like the blue choice or the red choice, like, I can't take it, right? And I understand why the red choice is grayed out most of the time, because I haven't gone down a renegade path pretty much at all. Sure. Most of my decisions are like the nice positive decision. So why is the Paragon decision sometimes grayed and sometimes blue?
You've not made, it's like convincing skills in Skyrim. You've not progressed enough RPG wise to convince them that you're.
Does it depend on? Is that entirely dependent on your conversational choices and what conversations you've had with people? Or
to an extent, of course, yeah. But it also depends on if you've done side missions that's for the good. Like, if you've gone, if you've gone and done missions,
which I haven't.
Yeah, so
I've done fuck all.
If you steal this can of Coke, you get renegade points without a conversation. You give this can of Coke to someone, there you get Paragon points, your team sees it, so you can then have those options. I did tell you that there's a part where you can speak to a guy and repeat the conversation and get infinite both by just saying the same thing over and over. You said you wanted to play it through it naturally. I do it because this is like my fucking 19... I would say I've at least finished this game 7 times. Like, I could go in and finish this tonight. Like, I'm at that stage, but I just left it because I'm kind of undecided on how deep I want to go, because I might actually just go back and finish it off for next week, because I want to see what Mass Effect 2 looks like. It didn't need as much work as Mass Effect 1, but like, I do a more in-depth playthrough when I play as Femshep, because a playthrough her is totally different. Not as a soldier, I try and use quote-unquote magic, like your powers, instead of using weapons. Whereas when I play as John, he's a shoot first sort of Captain Kirk ask questions later guy, whereas Femshep always play as, she's got the... She's my Scarlet Witch. But anyway, back to your Mass Effect.
So, the one kind of thing I want to touch on here with this game is that the game is a weird sort of juxtaposition, actually, because the story feels very modern, right? In terms of like it feels like a fresh story, and obviously it's fresh to me because I'm playing it for the first time now, right? But the story feels relevant and still fresh now, and it still feels very well told. But the gameplay feels so outdated and archaic. Like, when I'm running through these fucking levels, man, like, I feel like I'm playing Halo 1.
Halo 1. You're right. But it's almost the same age as Halo 1, remember? So, like, the weird thing, I've never thought about that with the story, but you're right. Sometimes in games of this age, 14 years, so sometimes a 14-year-old game, the story, you'll be going, this is not good storytelling at all. It's dated. Whereas this, you're right. If this was storytelling in a game that came out this year, you'd be like, this story's fucking good. You wouldn't go, a bit like when I was it's harsh to say about Dragon Quest, but the JRPG and the progression and that, it feels antiquated. Yes, the gameplay feels antiquated in this, 100%. The world design, 100%. Empty planets. Not that there's not games out. Not that there's not games out currently that has the same sort of problem. But like, the story, it's weird. Like, I'd never thought about it. This story does feel fresh, and I know. I mean, I'm not meaning it fresh eyes like you. It feels like it could have been written this year. Like, it doesn't feel dated or aged, and even older sci-fi things like the original Star Trek, Star Wars, for example. You know, the original trilogy feels old in the storytelling. You go to the prequels, it's a bit more modern, and the sequels. But like, the original trilogy of Star Wars storytelling feels old. Like, this doesn't feel like it's 14 years ago. No.
No, this isn't at all, which is a real strong testament
Actually,
to the people that wrote this game.
actually feels very, very fucking current because of the sort of relationships you can have, like the way you can portray your character as bisexual, anything sexual, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go bang aliens if you want, it's fine. Like I had the alien girlfriend in Andromeda, like that was fine. And mainly because I wanted to get with Cora, and Cora was like, no, we're gonna be friends only. Like I don't like you because you're a girl. And I was like, oh, I wish I'd been the guy. But I went with PB in that game, who was Asari. Yes, she was an Asari, and she was kind of cool. Like she was kind of like weird, and we had a very like fuck buddy type relationship
Yeah.
for most of the game, and then she was like my girlfriend by the end of it.
In my head, I've got kind of canon Shepherd. So my Shepherd that I play as John, it's always Liara. Always Liara's his girlfriend. As Femme Shep, depends. Depends. She's a bit more loose. Sometimes I make her just try and flirt with them all. Like, but with John Shepherd, I'm kind of just the guy.
Do you know, I've maybe not talked to them enough, like outside of the quests. Because right, see when I'm talking to them in the quest, they don't fucking say anything. They're like, "It's too cold here," and you're like, "Okay," and they try and talk to them again. It's too cold here.
Yeah, that's not where you talk to them. You talk to them after the mission in the ship, which is frustrating to get.
I know, but see, because they would only talk to me. They would only say it's too cold here or it's too warm here. Like I don't want it. I don't want to talk to you. Like basically, you say shite.
If you go down after, like, say you do Vimri and you go down to the hall and you're like, "Oh, how's things?" It'll open up conversations that will lead to more. It's again not as important in Mass Effect 1. Not as important.
Yeah,
those sort of things like won't impact Mass Effect 2 or 3. In Mass Effect 2, your crew missions and your relationship with the crew will absolutely affect not only that game but the next game, and how if the crew stay with you, even because you have to get, it's the loyalty missions they then become. In this, it was they were just playing with the idea of missions for them, because like Garrus has got an unsettled score with a guy that was experimenting in people that he thought was sick, and Rex wants his armor back, and you know, these sort of things. So like in the second one, especially when you meet Jack, she's her loyalty mission is really cool. So that's what I mean. Like this, it's not as important that you do it. It's just that it opens up the game more. Should you wish to do so?
Yeah, like it's not something I'm probably going to bother too much with in this game, because like I'm not really connected to the crew particularly. Like I say, Garrus is okay, and like Liara's all right, but like the other ones I don't really give a fuck about. Like Rex seems like he might be all right, but like you're saying, like I had the option to kill him, so he's gonna fuck off at some point. So what's the point of investing time in him? Like same way with Aerith in Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, I hate
don't
that.
Give her
First
any,
time I played
don't
it.
give her any item. Don't level her up.
Good.
Just fucking let
her
her die.
So every time I play Final Fantasy VII now, it's like I don't give her anything. Even when she's forced to be with you, it's like, I'm sorry, but if you get knocked out, tough, because I know you're dying. you don't even deserve the chance to survive up until that point.
I'm not even gonna waste a Phoenix down on you.
No, I didn't. I was just like, you can wait till we get to rest point. But because the first time I played it, it really fucking annoyed me, because she was one of my main characters, and see at that point I'm like, oh fuck, I've not really leveled anyone else up, and now she's dead forever, and she had some good stuff on her, bastard. But yeah, in this game, apart from Rex and your one crewmate, I think that's the only two deaths that can affect for the entire playthrough. I don't think there's any other choices that way, because I think it's pretty much straight sailing once you go back to the Citadel, and then you leave the Citadel.
That's really cool though, that it can affect things, like, and even that choice with that Arachne
That's the
Queen,
biggest
like,
choice in this game. I would say.
See, playing it at the time, right? If I'd played this at the time when it first came out, I would have just thought that was part of this game. I wouldn't have thought it would come back in another game at all.
And even in Mass Effect 2, I thought nothing about that decision. See, when Mass Effect 3 came back to play, I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, I remember that. Because obviously it was years later. There is another decision. There's a guy called Conrad something, and the mission's called The Fan on the Citadel, and he asks for your photo first. Every time you go back to the Citadel...
Oh, yeah, I saw him, yeah.
Right. Go back to where he... Oh, no, you might be too late.
I've spoke to him a couple of times.
Right. There will be a point where he asks you if you think he should become a Marine. That can affect the later games.
Right, okay. I don't... he's not asked me that. I think I've spoken to him twice, and I've definitely given him a photo.
You might have screwed it at this point.
That wasn't that long ago.
So he asks for a photo, he asks something. Then there's a point where he asks if he thinks he should sign up because he wants to be a spectre or something. I'm not going to give you advice either way. That's your choice. But basically, that can come back. Not as major as the Rachni. Like I said, the Rachni Queen is the biggest decision in this game in my mind. In my mind, anyway.
That's cool. But yeah, like so I'm currently at what's it called, Pharos, and I'm just about to go down into under the tunnel underneath the bit where the base was. Like, there's the base, and all the people are weird. Like they all seem like they won't talk about the place they live. Like that was so weird. Like I'm going around talking to them, and like I'm asking about, I can't remember what the colony's called, but it's like I'm asking them like, oh, what do you think about the colony? And they're like, I can't answer that question. Like you need to ask the head of the colony. And I'm like, all right. But every single person said the same fucking thing. I'm like, this seems like a fucking weird cult. And yeah, it turns out that it was like they're basically being like mind controlled by like this Thorian thing. And so then when I went and did that quest line, and then I had to come back to them, and then they all started trying to kill me. But I have these like gas grenades now that I can use, which I didn't know I could upgrade grenades.
So
and I'm like, okay, I killed one of them by accident.
Yeah, the problem is, like, even me during that section, I tried to gas them all, but there's a certain point where the husks come out and they attack and can kill them, and it's very difficult to do that part. So just ignore it. It doesn't fucking matter. If one of them dies, then there's certain quests you can't hand back in during that part. But again, like, do you know what? The best way to look at this game is this is Assassin's Creed 1. This is what this is.
Yeah, they were basically throwing a lot of different ideas at the wall to see what
stuck. And then in 2 they went, this stuck, and everyone went, holy shit, you know what works. 3 they kind of went. 3 wasn't as good as 2 in my mind. It looks better and played like nice, but 2 plays good as well from what I remember. Again, 2's like a 10-year-old game at this point as well. 3's what, maybe 7, 8 years old? Probably longer than that. No, it's older than that. But
yeah, it's older than that.
Yeah, 2's really good. But again, like 2's where it really hits, and it's like, whoa, okay, cool. They've got a grip of this. So I'm interested to play that one. It's a shame it's not sticking with you. I think obviously if you played it when I did, you would be like, oh wow, they've really improved this. Like
totally. Like every time when I'm in a dialogue, when I'm in a conversation tree, or when I'm in a cutscene, I'm like, yes, fucking let's go. This is awesome. And then every time when I come back from that going into gameplay, I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, oh Jesus.
I mean, like I love, like, the Citadel's okay in this, right? But see when you go to
Citadel is okay, yeah, that's
right,
fine.
But see when you go to the Citadel in 2, like that's when you've probably heard, I'm Commander Shepard and this is my favourite store in the Citadel. You can sponsor shop, like it's so much bigger. They've just went all in. They realised people like the Citadel, let's show them other areas. Because see when you look at the background, you see all the flying cars, you see how big it is with the city streets and stuff. It looks like fucking Coruscant. It's like, I want to see what else is here. Surely it's not 4 areas. It's not. It's so much bigger in the... You don't really see it in the third one.
Do they get rid of all this bullshit with elevators in the next games?
There's elevators, but they're not used to disguise loading scenes, which is what these were used for in the original game.
That's not what actually annoyed me about the elevators. Like, what annoys me about the elevators in this game is that you need to, like, you take an elevator to a floor, and then you have to, like, come out the elevator, walk over there, go to a different elevator, and take it to a different place. And then from there, you'll have to go to another place, and then go to a different elevator to take you back up to another place. You're basically going in this weird loop like this.
No.
In fucking 3 elevators to get from one place to another.
Have you used
That's not necessarily in the Citadel, by the way. That's in some of the other areas.
Fair.
But what the fuck is that all about?
Because I was going to say in the Citadel, you can use the transport system. No, but you can use the transport, and it's like, there-am, bam, there-am, and that's the one to use.
Yep.
In the other places, there's not much excuse, but like there's skip buttons.
It's like, what the fuck, man?
There's skip buttons, but they only apply if the lift journey itself takes longer. Like, before, like, say, the C-Sec to the docking bay, that was a long elevator ride, and I don't skip them, though. Like, okay, other places it's different, but I like hearing the news reports.
Skip them every time.
I don't care. I'll skip them every time. That's fine. Right, but the news reports are cool because it tells you about stuff that you've just done. Sometimes I like Rex and Garrus because the Quarians and the Krogan, that's the word I'm looking for, have like an old rivalry from wars beforehand, and they all have banter like, "You're not so bad for Aquarian." He's like, "Actually, blah blah," and it's quite funny. I wouldn't say hilariously funny, but the dialogue and everything that you like in this game is enhanced and more in the second game, is all I'll say. From the second game forward, the Mako was not like this. Everyone knows the Mako is terrible in Mass Effect 1, and even the Mako's got improved physics because it used to be bouncy, it used to slide, and
So
you used to
bad,
be,
man.
Andy, it used to have insta game overs, like, and I don't mean the death scene that you hate that you'll tell us about in a minute. I mean, you could hit
Yeah.
an environmental hazard and it would just be like game over.
Jesus. Like that is probably the worst part of the game when you're having to traverse from one place to another in this fucking car thing.
Yeah.
Like and obviously like I've played Andromeda, I'm used to like a modern driving car and like the car was perfectly functional in it and it had like boosters and things you could use
This has got a boost.
and it works absolutely fine. Like it's not the best thing to control in the world, but like I wouldn't say I noticed it at all. It was like it's functional.
It's
all
It's
you need.
overused in this, and you don't. I think it's completely
Totally.
optional. See
Yeah.
see. In fact, I'm almost 100% sure that see Mass Effect 2, any Mako missions are optional. You don't need to do them if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so like what I ended up because I started doing like I was doing the macro things and like it's like okay right drive from here to here and it's like okay you have to go to whatever and like right and I died a couple of times in these missions. This is fucking so hard to control. It's horrible. So I ended up I just drive straight. I just ignore all the enemies and just drive straight to wherever I need to go.
Run them over. Yeah.
And that works fine most of the time.
Until there's a
There's one or
destroyer.
two places. Yeah, there's one or two places where you have to kill something, but the rest of the time I can just drive, boom, and I can just ignore all the enemies. So what the fuck is the point in having those sections? I'm like, just do
Again,
away
it
with
was
them. They're
throwing
terrible.
stuff. It was throwing stuff at the wall and seeing it stuck.
Yeah, totally get
And
it.
like there are nostalgic fans of the original. See if there wasn't nostalgic fans for the Mako, but there are quite a lot. They would have took those sections out. I reckon. See, especially the bit
Yeah,
where you're going to repair. I think it's maybe the planet you're on just now with the colony, and it's like those long sections to get to the offices. Why the fuck do you need to be in the Mako? Like I don't get it. Like you could jump out and walk those bits and fill it with more enemies.
I mean,
but
it would take longer to go if you were walking it, and like
I get
the combat's not great, honestly. Though,
in this
like
one,
to
it's
the
better.
shooting and
It
stuff.
works. Imagine playing this. The combat didn't work though.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
Mass Effect original because remember I was sticking up for Mass Effect 1 going it's totally playable, it's fine, like people like me, it's fine to go back to it, and then was it last week or the week before I jumped back
Yeah,
and I was at the same section like on my latest playthrough and I'm like, oh my, this looks horrible, like it doesn't even
yeah.
move correct. I know cover's not the best in this. See in the first one he can't run, there's no boosters in the Mako, so you can imagine how slow that is.
Jesus. Yeah.
There's times where your gun just won't hit your target. Imagine hitting a firefight and he doesn't duck, because you know how 9 times, maybe 8 times out of 10, if you've got your gun out, he'll go behind a rock, so it will work. You go behind cover at least. Never mind the shooting mechanics. He will go behind cover. In Mass Effect 1, he won't. Like, and sometimes he won't even duck for you, and sometimes you'll get stuck in that horrible ducking animation walking towards them, and your reticle doesn't change size, it doesn't zoom in. In the Mako, you can zoom in the tank. See, in the original, you couldn't zoom
Yeah.
in. You just had to kind of aim roughly, and there was no like red bit on the reticle to show you were even hitting them. So yeah, there has been major improvements made to make it playable. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's playable now.
Yeah, it's absolutely not
It's not
good.
great.
All of those sections, like the story is good though, like so like it's a very 50-50 game for me. So like the story and all that shit, great, love it. And all the other gameplay, they can fuck off. Like I hate it. I don't hate it. It's just like it's not fun to play that at all. But it is really fun to experience the story side of it. And like story, as we know for me, is the number one thing in a video game. If you've got a good story, it doesn't matter how bad your gameplay is, I'm going to be able to get through it. So
it's true.
yeah, that's an exact example of that for me.
So like Mass Effect 2 you're going to enjoy more because I think the story's even better. I think, is it Charlie or Martin Sheen plays as a certain character you're going to run into a lot. I don't know if you've probably not, but I like reading through the codex logs, and there's a group called Cerberus. Have you heard about them yet?
I may have, but I
They've
didn't bother to
mentioned
read any of the codex logs.
they're mentioned very briefly in this. They're a big part of 2, especially the start of 2 and what happens. So,
I have a question about this game.
sure.
So, like, was there DLC for Mass Effect 1?
Mm-hmm.
Where is that
Have you
in
been to
this
the
game? How, like,
Have you been to the Meteor yet? Like X, what's it called?
no, where is it?
I will tell you just now. There was 2
Is it worth
DLCs.
doing? Is
Yeah.
it worth doing? Is the question. In
Yeah.
terms of the overall story of Mass Effect, is it going to add something for me to go and do this?
Yes, it's good. Yep. So you have to go to X57, asteroid X57,
Right.
and land on it.
Okay.
It's short, but it adds. The other DLC didn't add. You know, the one they removed. Pinnacle Station.
Oh, was that the one? Right. Was that the one they took out? Okay.
It removed, but it wasn't really story based. This one,
Right.
X57, it's just on your. Where is it?
I mean, I'll find it now that I know what it's called. I'll find it. Like,
It's called-
because you obviously get a bunch of missions thrown at you, like side missions
Yeah,
and
of
stuff, and you're
course.
like, you can go here if you want. And like,
So
I don't know which
we
one's the
suggest you
DLC
start this
mission. Could I
DLC
do that
about
or not?
level 25, 30. So
Oh, okay. Level like 18 or something.
I did it well before that.
Yeah.
So it's called. This is Bring Down the Sky, but I'm trying to remember where it is.
Right.
It recommends that. Do you know what? You could probably skip it. Maybe. I mean,
How long is it? Is it quite short or is it?
it's you, so. I liked it. It kind of. Nah, you don't. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Do you know what? It's not going to add enough for you to go, that was worthwhile. You're going to be fucking raging. For me, because I'm a much. I know you're saying you like the story, but I mean. I've got novels and shit. It kind of adds to the overall story. It doesn't add in a, oh my god, it's introduced Boba Fett comparing it to Star Wars way.
Yeah.
It's more of a,
Yeah.
this is adding to the overall conflict and certain races that aren't in the rest of the game you get to see during Bring Down the Sky. Skip it. Don't bother. Just fucking finish the game.
Yeah, I don't think I
In
care about that.
Mass Effect 2.
I will finish this game, I think, this week.
In Mass Effect 2, not one of the DLCs can you skip. I will say that now.
Okay.
Not one. Shadow Broker is potentially some of the best, if not the best, story DLC ever. It happens after the main story, or no, during. I think I can't remember. There's. It's been a while since I've played it. Mass Effect 3 DLC. I'll tell you this: I've never experienced, so that's going to be all new to me. I own it. I bought it, but I never went back to it back then. But Mass Effect 2 DLC, absolutely phenomenal. Mass Effect 1, like I said, it kind of introduces a race that you've not met in the main game. So if you want to see a new race, by all means. Otherwise, do you know what to do? Once you finish Mass Effect 1, just Google it. Google that part. Or YouTube it.
Okay, I'll do that. I reckon I can finish Mass Effect 1 this week. Like, probably within the next couple of days.
It's a short RPG. This one's really short.
And there'll be another one for the 12 games for the year. And I'm working my way there.
We're working my
12
way
games,
there.
including two Soulsborne games, Ali.
You've not finished any of those yet, so you can say it
But
all you want.
I am far through Bloodborne now. Far through it.
Again, started it with 50 odd 40 hours in.
Well, yes, but that was at the beginning of the game.
Still
like I'd be
leveling.
That's
like saying I'm at the start of Final Fantasy 7, but you've put 40 hours grinding into it.
Well, maybe, but I still did it.
You still did it. I'm not taking it away from
Oh,
you.
I've not done it. I've not done it yet.
I will go back to Demon's Souls, but I'm probably not going to finish it by the end of this year. No. I made good progress in Dark Souls.
You could do Bloodborne, because I could talk you through how to do Bloodborne. I've played every area, so I know exactly how to do it.
I've made a chunk of progress in Dark Souls as well. Remember, I'm currently at a grindy bit.
It's harder. You have no chance in Dark
Demon's Souls is the hardest. Yeah.
Demon's Souls, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Dark Souls once I beat this because I want to fight the guy in the big sword. But yeah. I will That's why I'm not buying Ratchet. Right. That's what I was gonna wrap up with, because I'm gonna finish Mass Effect 1 this week. Final Fantasy 7 Remake Integrated out this week. I'm gonna get the Yuffie DLC. I'm gonna play that. And then I want to go back to Judgment. I want to play that.
Going to make me laugh so much. If, like, shortly after they just release it as standalone, after you doing all that downloading and moving and re-downloading. If this pops up standalone and you've downloaded it.
Yeah, I know. I would not mind seeing how the game looks in like the PS5 version as well. Plus, there's one or two bits and pieces that I wouldn't mind going back and finishing off in the game.
Cool.
Like trophy-wise, because there's a couple of trophies that I never got in the game from not doing side quests at one point that I didn't realize. I was like, oh shit, I can't come back here. Fuck. Because normally in games that you can go back.
Yeah,
like, and this is at the beginning of the game, and like I didn't finish all the side quests because I've missed 3 at the very beginning of the game.
What I would say to you, to flip back to Mass Effect, are you at a part where they're asking you back to the Citadel yet, or are you still on that planet with the cult with the Thorian creeper?
No, I'm on that planet. That's the part of the main quest that I'm on.
If you had anything you wanted to finish in the Citadel, stop and go back to the Citadel now and come back later, because this is your last kind of main planet before you go to Ilos. Once you've done this planet, the council will request your presence back at the Citadel, basically. And once you've done the sequence at the Citadel, then when you leave the Citadel, you can't go back to the Citadel for a while. And
I don't think I can go back right now.
You can. You
can.
How
would I go back?
Well, you return to your ship, right? You just return to the Normandy, and then you.
But I don't know. I've not seen the Normandy. I don't know where it is.
You don't need to see it. You can push the blue button to return to the Normandy when you're in the Mako. But if you're at the main camp, then you just go look at your map and follow the dock. Go to the dock. It's kind of back the way you came, into the left-ish, or the right. I can't, depends what way you're facing, obviously. But go back now if there's anything you wanted to do there.
I don't think the Normandy's on this planet right now.
It is. How do you think you got there?
And they just dropped me off.
No, no. It's
again went away.
No, it's there. What planet are you on?
I'm on the Feros planet. Feros.
No, you land there. No, you can get there. It dropped you. You're thinking about the mission with the bomb. It didn't land there, like, because Joker had to come in and swoop and
yeah.
No, this one, it's at the docking bay.
I don't remember.
It's 100% at the docking bay. So if there's nothing you want to do in the Citadel, like if Conrad, is it Vickers or whatever his name is, if that doesn't interest you, then don't bother. But there will be a cut-off point after this planet that the game goes, okay, then these missions are no longer accessible. So this is your point of, do I want to do any more side stuff, or am I okay just plodding through? Because if you're okay just plodding through, finish the mission and you'll be back at the Citadel and you'll be going to Ilos before you know it. And then you've got Ilos, something else that I'm not going to say, and then maybe back at the Citadel for a bit. And that's you finished. I think the game finishes on the Citadel.
I reckon I can knock this out this week. Especially because I'm on holidays.
You could finish this in a couple of days worth of ignoring other games easily.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't play anything else, that's it.
Awesome, so let's finish up for tonight. An extra long episode. Unfortunately, again, E3 coverage, not a lot to cover, even with our media access. We will be covering it, though, as we are there. Coverage will begin when there's stuff to cover, basically. Tomorrow, you can join us on the show, as can you Monday to Friday. Andy, what can they find us doing, and where can they find us throughout the week?
So usually you can find us at 9 PM UK time right here, youtube.com/42level1. On a Monday, 9 PM UK time, you can find me playing Bloodborne, still sucking at it, even though I did beat Mikolash this week. On a Tuesday, right here with the 42level1 podcast, where me and I talk about all the video games that we've been playing through the week, and sometimes some E3 or things, or pre-E3 things. Hashtag pre-3. On a Wednesday, you've got Gears of Wednesday, where me and Ali are playing through the Gears of War series, currently on Gears 5, not of War. And yeah, it's not as good as the other ones so far. Maybe it gets better. We'll see. And then once we've completed that, I don't know what we're going to do. We'll work it out. And then on a Thursday, you've got Gadabout Thursdays, where Ali does whatever the fuck he wants. Probably more E3, pre-3 talk this week, I would bet.
Yeah.
And then on a Friday, we're right back here with the 42 News, where we wrap up all the video game news stories of the week that you need to know about. And this week, 100% will be pre-3.
And next week, what will we be doing?
Next week we will have some other things for you. So there are a number of press conferences which we will hope to do live reactions for. Mainly to save us having to regurgitate talking about them on the podcast and on the news show. If we just do a live, then we don't need to talk about it again. That's it, done.
Starts
and we
this
can react
weekend,
to it. And it's fun to do. So there's some stuff coming up on. I think it's Saturday. There's a couple. There's Ubisoft as well as what's the other one on Saturday? Can't remember. Gearbox, Ubisoft and Gearbox. Yeah, it's Ubisoft and Gearbox, which could both be
the Borderlands
equally interesting.
spin-off.
Borderlands spin-off could be cool. Like,
oh, get leaked. I never shared it with you. I never shared it.
Oh no, I did. I saw the leak, but I mean, it could be interesting.
Yeah,
I need to see what it looks like.
More about the movie, maybe.
Same about all that stuff. Yeah, maybe. But we'll find out about all that on Saturday, and we'll react to it as we'll pretend to be surprised when they go Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and we'll go, oh my god,
no way!
But that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and I'm sure there'll be other surprises that come out from Ubi and Gearbox as well. And on Sunday's the big one with Microsoft, which we hope to do a live react to, and it depends on Ali's childcare situation.
You say we'll get that. One.
It's for me, the big one.
No, for me, Andy, if Nintendo reveal new hardware, that's the big one.
I mean,
yes,
I don't care if they reveal hardware because we know it's happening.
Newer is always better, so you should care. So
that's fair.
Yep.
But hardware,
I love using Andy's logic on him.
hardware pop though at a conference like this, at this time of the year, in this particular time period, does not excite me right now. Like, a new game coming out this year, that excites me because I'm like, I fucking want something incredible to play. Yeah, totally. That'll be like, yes, fucking let's go. I'll get that.
It's not coming this year. I'm gonna deflate everybody right now. It's not.
Oh yeah, but like whatever does come this year is like what I'm excited about.
Skyward Sword.
Basically, that's what my get hate moments are all gonna be 2021. If it says 2021, I'll be like, yes, let's fucking go. If it says 2022, I'll be like, that was shit.
So look forward to Call of Duty coverage, Battlefront coverage from Andy. Like
Battlefield, I'm excited about. To be fair.
Battlefield, yeah. Oh, and we're back. So yeah, we are back, but it's messed us all up.
Yeah. Oh well, we're done anyway.
I need to. What I'll do is full screen and grid, and then I can go back to OBS, and we're kind of fixed. We're kind of fixed. So apologies, but yeah, OBS kicked us off. Internet is fine because as we get disconnected, we were still talking. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, share us your thoughts on E3, what we're going to see, what we're not going to see, and we will catch you tomorrow night for Gears of Wednesday. Bye. Peace.